I'll just wait. Okay, I think we're recording. Hello, everyone. Almighty Tippin here, and I hope you're excited. I hope you're prepared. I hope you got something, some kind of snack prepared, because we about to go to the dark side. And when I say the dark side, I mean the dark side. But this is Ask the King, episode 57, January 28, 2016. First Ask the King of the year. It's been maybe a few months since I listened to a whole one of these thingamajiggies. Not really gonna call this like a reactions video. I'm really gonna call this an endure video, because Ask the King is a fucking endure. But I have some counters on the screen to keep myself busy. I got one that's got a fish hook next to his face. That's the bait counter, because he gets a lot of bait questions. And when I mean bait questions, I don't mean stuff like about terrorism and shit. I mean stuff like that too, but I also mean stuff that's pandering to him. Like a lot of people ask questions that can boost his ego or can make him feel important. So then he has a higher chance of answering them. And just looking in the description, we can see some of them already. Possibility of returning a competitive Street Fighter, whatever. Thoughts on things coming together with my new work schedule, that's one. Discussion of the changes that are now live for my third channel strategy. Like, some of these questions seem so specific. It seemed like he just wrote the question down and pretended that someone else answered it. Well, asked it. Anyway, description is interesting. It's kind of, honestly, it's funny because I remember, let me see what this link go to. Yo, DSP, I'm not going to say he took my advice, but he is doing the same thing I said he should do not even a week ago. If you watch my last video I made on our good friend Dark Surfer Phil, I said that he should just get a straight up Amazon link and put it in the description like, hey, if you like me, buy stuff using this link and I'm going to get some money. And then I brought up a website that I go to that do the same thing. And lo and behold, he has an Amazon link just like that. It says, like buying stuff on Amazon, use this referral link and I'll get some credit for anything you buy. It's a great way to support me, so thanks in advance. And it sends you straight to the Amazon homepage. That's what he should have been doing. And that's what I said he should do Sunday. And not even a week later, that's what he's doing. So hopefully somebody listened to me and told him or something. But whatever. I ain't mad at him. He should have been doing that anyway. But let's get the show on the road. Second counter is just a general counter for when I'm bored. For arm flails, you know what I means, snorts, just random stuff. It's not gonna be 100% accurate, but like I said, I have these counters to keep myself entertained. I think it's F9. Yep, it's F9. It's got a delay on it, so I can't like mash the button. Mail, motherfucker.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome. This is Ask the King. It's actually episode 57. Yeah, what a long ass running series, right? It's
BTW, the audio is going to be kind of loud on this one, but I don't plan on pausing a lot. But I'm gonna try not to talk when he talking, because I know it'll be kind of hard to understand.
Also, the very first episode of Ask the King for the new year 2016. It's right now the very end of the month, the 28th of January actually. And I've not had a chance to do this show in 2 months, so I'm excited to be coming back strong. If you've noticed, recently there's been some changes to my content on my vlogging channel here on YouTube. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But for those of you who maybe are newcomers, who have just come by recently to check out all the new stuff, welcome to Ask the King. This is my monthly show, or at least I try to do it monthly. In this case, it was a 2-month wait, where I answer your questions, whether you are submitting them on the kingofhate.com forums, whether you're a patron who pledged $20 or more monthly, which you can see the link right here. If you do that, you get your question answered for sure on the show. And in fact, we've got a good 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe 4 or 5 people who are going to get their questions answered because of that.
5 people gave him $20 to get a question answered. That is amazing. Holy shit. You know how fucking lit I would be if somebody gave me $20 for me to answer a fucking question?
In addition, I also take Twitter and Facebook questions. You can see my Twitter right here. And I asked earlier today when I was actually preparing the questions for those, and Facebook, which incidentally is facebook.com/they call me DSP. So all those different methods.
I thought he didn't have a Facebook anymore. / they call me DSP. Oh, so you can't use his fan Facebook. You have to ask him on his personal Facebook, I guess. Look at all these other Phil Burnells. Look at that picture. Oh, man. I don't know. Is this Spanish? I don't know. But yeah, you can't use his fan Facebook anymore.
Those questions. I try to pick the best ones to answer here on the show and give you a nice, informed, entertaining answer. Okay? A few things, because we are going to get right into the questions, but before we do, a few things to cover that are different. Number one, you may have noticed this month, there was no podcast. That's because the Hate Live podcast, for all intents and purposes, is pretty much defunct. And what I mean by that is that because I have increased the amount of vlogging that I do, and I am now doing individual edited videos for topics, I'm not going to be doing one large unedited podcast anymore. What I used to do is save up all my opinions on stuff going on in pop culture and gaming, and then I would just do one big video about it in a podcast. Instead of that, I'm going to split it up and do shorter, more edited, more highlighted videos for you, and they're going to be reactionary to stuff going on. So just so you know, this month in particular, I did one in regards to the announcement of the Oculus Rift going up for pre-order and the pricing of the Oculus Rift. I gave you my opinions on that. I also talked about the Suicide Squad trailer as well as the new Wonder Woman footage that had been released. Just recently this week, I did a Royal Rumble 2016 reactions video after watching that WWE pay-per-view. And yesterday, right here on the King of Hate Vlogs, I also released my thoughts on Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Bruh.
Which I finally had the opportunity
the weekend
to
preview?
see after a month and a half of the damn thing being out in theaters.
Or
I know
the
stuff that I didn't have a chance to
preview?
see earlier.
I never say it
but
right.
It is what it is. So
it is what
that's
it is.
the kind of style of video you're going to see here on the King of Hate Vlogs, in addition to this show, Ask the King. But you're also going to see the continuation of shows like DSP Tries It, the Weekend Preview. So there's going to be a nice wide variety of content here on the vlogging channel. For the first time, I actually feel like I'm going to be dedicating the amount of time I should have to begin with to vlogging. And I'm curious to see how it goes. I would definitely like to say thank you to all of you who have embraced this new style, because the 4 videos I put out this month so far, the performance is great. People are watching, they're commenting, they're spreading the word, and I like that. That means that you care about what I have to say, and you want me to keep sharing my thoughts. So I will, coming up with new gaming news or something with pop culture or whatever. Look for me to be covering various different things. For example, if there's a new television show I'm watching, or if something happens with gaming, you're going to see me covering all of that. All right?
All right.
So I know that's a change. And that means no more podcast. What that means is that patrons who pledge $10 or more to my Patreon monthly, normally I would read out a thank you shout out on my podcast. It's now going to be here in Ask the King.
Oh my God.
So what we're actually going to do is do patron questions and then immediately do those thank yous and then push forward into more questions. Okay? One more thing that I want to mention before we start with the questions. This is something completely different and new that I'm doing in the year of 2016.
Amazon.
I've become an Amazon Associate Partner. What that means is that I am part of the Amazon Associates program. And if you buy stuff on Amazon.com.
Wow, DSP.
And normally you order, it could be anything, that stuff for the house, games.
I'm not going to skip it.
You know, anything that you might order, digital stuff, digital movies, music, anything you get off of Amazon.com. I'm now going to be putting a referral link in the description of my videos, including this video is the first one on the King of Hate Vlogs that I'm doing this. If you click on that link and then you'll open your browser to Amazon and then you can do your shopping, I get a referral credit for that. So basically, it's a way for me to make a few extra bucks. It's going to definitely help this year with all the changes that I made to my channels. The fact that, you know, I just had that contract renegotiation with Machinima and I really need your help. This is one way to help actively rather than, you know, having to worry about, oh no, Patreon, because a lot of people have said, oh my God, Patreon, but I can't afford it. But hey, I order stuff from Amazon.
Yeah, you buy
so
stuff on Amazon anyway.
And it'll give Phil a little bit of help. So thank you to those of you who already have, because already there's been like over 40 items using my referral link in the past like 2 weeks that it's existed. And now I'm going to start putting it actively in all of my videos. So just look at the description. If you use it, it helps me a lot. Okay? So enough about that preface stuff.
Wow.
We're actually going to get to the meat of the questions. As you know, typically this show runs about 2 hours long, sometimes longer. I try to separate it into about 30-minute parts. So you're going to see multiple parts, probably 3 parts, if not more. We'll see how long it takes to answer some of these questions. All right.
Mission complete.
So the first Ask the King of the New Year. I'm very happy to be answering your questions. Keep in mind, if you didn't get your question.
Oh, another thing I want to say. I thought about putting this in 3 separate videos, but that's kind of a dick thing to do. And that means I have to upload 3 different videos and give 3 different videos 3 different titles. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna try to sit through all this in one sitting. If I can't, then that means it's just gonna get uploaded a little bit later than I want it to be uploaded. But it's gonna be one big ass video. And I'm gonna do a stupid audio only version if people want that. And I'm gonna put that in the description too. I'm not putting fucking timestamps in the description. Oh, fuck that shit.
Submit it in time for this
Sorry.
episode. You can always submit it for next episode on my kingofhate.com forums. You can head over there, and there already is a thread up for the next show, so post your questions up for there. And also keep in mind, if you're not interested in a particular question, look at the description of the video. I have timestamps here where you can jump around the videos, and that way you don't have to wait for the question you're not interested in. You can just jump right to the one that you want to hear the answer to, okay? All right, so let's begin with the patron questions. These are patrons for the months of November and December who pledged the $20 or more and got their questions submitted for sure to be answered on the show. So the first question. Hello, Phil. Here is my question. When you first started to stream Nintendo 3DS playthroughs, I believe I remember you saying that you had played Fire Emblem Awakening.
Fire Emblem.
I don't think that you mentioned that you beat it, but getting to the point, Fire Emblem Fates is going to come out on the 19th of February, and I was wondering if you're going to give it a shot. It could be a new revival for your Nintendo 3DS playthroughs.
Yeah,
my second question, what is your opinion on Final Fantasy VII being remade in episodic releases, apparently? And that's from Fire Emblem Fan. All right, so 2 questions.
Wait, Fire Emblem Fan is class. No. Is it? I don't fucking know. Isn't class like RPG Fan or something?
First of all, yes, I did play Fire Emblem.
I feel like I saw the username Fire Emblem Fan
That was actually one of the
recently.
last games I played on the Nintendo 3DS. And that was quite a while ago. That was
and I don't go to his
before
forums.
I moved out of Connecticut. Since I've moved, I find that I literally have no time really to sit down and play mobile gaming on like the Nintendo 3DS. What I have done, every once in a while, I'll play a quick mobile game on my phone or something like that. There's been a few ones that have been related to WWE over the past couple of years. Like there was one card game that I quit earlier.
So he had time to play Supercard for hours and hours and hours. This is like a proven fact. He had time to play Supercard for hours and hours and hours. But he can't play a 3DS game, which is apparently a mobile game. Who fucking knew, right? I always thought mobile games was on phones, and 3DS and PSP and PS Vita were considered portable games. But apparently they're all in the same boat now. But yep. Supercard is worth the time investment. A game that doesn't even have an ending, and it's just grinding and grinding and grinding. And it's worth more of a time investing in Fire Emblem. All right.
This year, because there was another game that came out that was similar. It was like a combat game. It was called Immortals. It was similar to the
he acting like he don't know anything about these games.
So I kind of get caught up in that stuff.
He got caught up in it.
But I have not dedicated myself to actually play, say, a real mainstream portable game in a long time. So you ask if I'm going to be checking out Fire Emblem Fates. I'm going to be honest with you. There's no way possible that I could play Fire Emblem Fates.
All right, then.
It comes out on February 19th. And just to give everyone some perspective, the month of February is already insanely packed with releases. The first week, we've got the first Black Ops 3 DLC, which I definitely want to check out. And I'm going to be continuing on with my continuing playthroughs, stuff like Undertale and Yakuza 5. The second...
If you don't remember, DSP bought the season pass to Black Ops 3 because he's stupid. And yeah, he's gonna make himself play it, unless he end up really hating the DLC. Then he's gonna keep playing it. I wish you would have played the Advanced Warfare DLC.
Week we've got the last Naruto game, in the mainstream storyline of Naruto games, and people have been waiting for me to play this for 3 years because I played the last one in 2013. People really enjoyed my playing of that playthrough, and I'm going to be playing this new one. In addition to that, there's also Unravel and Firewatch, both of which I want to play, but I don't know if I'm going to even have time, simply because all those games come out on the same day. The week after that, on February 16th,
I gotta go on a field trip. I would ask in the comments, but I might not see it. Unravel. That sounds like some fucking super indie shit. Oh, it's this game. No, that's not gonna get good views. What is Firewatch? Firewatch, upcoming first person. It's a walking simulator. So he want to play Unravel, a game that won't get any views because it's a platformer, and he want to play a walking simulator, but he might not play Fire Emblem Fates. All right, we got to go a little bit off topic here. I recently been streaming Persona 3. And if you don't know, Persona 3 it's a JRPG. It's got a lot of grinding and it's got a lot of time wasting stuff in it. You know, stuff that wouldn't be good for a YouTube playthrough per se. But when I play that fucking game, when I stream it, I'm in the bed streaming that shit. And the thing, when I see him saying he can't play a game like Fire Emblem Fates because it would take too much time, I'm like, dude, you could fucking lay on the sofa, put your headset on, and just like be laying on the sofa playing a game like, all right, doing this, all right, doing that. You don't have to sit up in the couch. You don't even have to really concentrate. You can just let your mind be all over the place. You could sit in the bed and play that game. If you, like he could literally bring his laptop into his room or into his living room, lay on the couch and play Fire Emblem for like 5 hours, record it and upload it. And he would get away with it. But he can't do that. He has to play games in his business gaming room.
Street Fighter V. And everyone knows
he wants to play walking simulators instead, I guess.
I used to be a competitive Street Fighter player. I covered the living shit out of Street Fighter 4, and I'm planning on doing the same for Street Fighter 5. So this is basically the worst possible timing for a lengthy JRPG style game to be released, let alone a game that's on the Nintendo 3DS and probably would have even a lesser viewer base than me doing a more mainstream one, like, say, Persona 5 or something like that. So, unfortunately, this game is just kind of going right under my radar. There's too much going on in the month of February.
I will watch him play Fire Emblem.
And by the way, you would say, well, why don't you save it for later? Well, let's see. March has, like,
5 or 6
games. April has, like, 5 or 6 huge, high-profile games. So, you're talking saving this game for, like, maybe the downtime of the summer.
The thing is, all he got to do is say, no, I'm not going to play it. Too much other stuff coming out. But no, he got to give us all these examples and excuses and shit. Just say you're not playing it, bro.
That's when Persona 5
is supposed to come out. You don't owe anybody anything.
Oh, yeah. I still have Disgaea 5, which I was playing last year and haven't played in like 3 months, and I don't know if I'm ever even going to get back to that. So you see the conundrum I'm in. I'm in a JRPG conundrum, where there's so many JRPGs that came out at the same time last year.
I wanted to see him keep playing Disgaea 5, you fucking asshole.
I don't know if it's going to fit. I mean, there's definitely
He's never going to finish
on
that
my
game.
radar. I definitely want to play Persona 5. That's why I keep mentioning it. But outside of that, I don't know if I even want to make any promises about playing JRPGs anytime soon because there's so much else coming out that I'm interested in. Okay. Now the second half of his question.
I shouldn't call it that because
what's your opinion on Final Fantasy VII being remade into an episodic release?
It's just a fucking counter. It's a boredom counter.
If you've been watching my stuff for a while, you'll definitely know my opinion on episodic releases. They could be really good or really bad. The reason I think they could be really good is because on the fly, game developers can listen directly to feedback from the people who are playing their game, and they can either improve the game or fix the game. If it's a game that has an interesting narrative, they could change the narrative.
You can't change the narrative of Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, no, we wrote this game, and it already was released fully, so people didn't like this twist in the plot. You know what I mean? There's no way that we could fix it or anything like that. Things I don't like about episodic releases is that they never have release dates. So, okay, I buy Final Fantasy VII, I pay my full $60 price tag for it, but I have no idea when the episodes are coming out. They just give you a general time frame, which ends up changing and being delayed. In regards to Telltale...
So he thinks Square Enix is going to pull a Telltale or a Don't Nod, because that's the hipster game girl, other girl, bitch with the purple hair that smoke weed. Fuck, I can't think of the name. But he thinks they're gonna pull a Don't Nod or a Telltale and never tell you when the shit coming out, and it just comes out. I don't think they're gonna do that.
The game developer was most infamous for making these episodic games. Episodes will just
CBH,
come out willy-nilly out of
really
freaking nowhere. No one knows when they're coming out or what to expect, and they're live.
But I don't
like,
really
well, I didn't know it was coming
Final
out. Now I have no time to play it, and it gets frustrating.
I don't have nostalgia
in this
for it,
case,
so I don't care.
I think the reason they're going to be doing Final Fantasy VII as an episodic release is because, number one, they want to gauge interest. They're maybe not fully confident in making it a full retail release because they don't know how many they'd sell.
That
so
makes
maybe
no
want to
sense.
do the first part and see how much it sells at first.
No.
In addition to that,
That's
maybe
not
they
it.
want to get it to the market as quickly as possible. Like they know
maybe
that
it's that
hardcore fanboys from the 90s chomping
or maybe
at the
they
bit
just
to
want to
play
milk
Final
it,
Fantasy
or
VII
maybe it's
remade,
both. It's probably
and rather
both.
than wait 2-3 years for the game to be ready, wait 1 year and release the first episode and get them all excited and hooked for the next episode. You know what
Wouldn't
I
the
mean?
first episode be the first disc?
So ultimately, I don't know. Ultimately, I don't have like a black or white opinion on it. I think it could work. We haven't seen Square Enix in particular do a RPG-style game like this episodically. The only one that
But Final Fantasy VII already
Life is
done.
Strange, but they didn't have anything to really do with the game development of that one. So I don't know.
It's
I'll
not like
reserve
the,
myself
whatever.
until we know more about the game and how it's going to work. I'm going to reserve my opinion. I don't want to jump the gun and say, oh, it's great or it's bad, and then, you know, I end up...
So give me $20 to come up with excuses to why I can't play a game that your username is based off of, because this is sent from Fire Emblem fan. So give me $20 to come up with answers that go around answering your actual question. I'm going to give you a bunch of excuses and not really answer it, and then tell you no and end. And give me $20 to tell you I don't have an opinion on your question. Money well spent.
Put my foot in my mouth like sometimes I do.
You know what I mean?
Next question. This one is from, excuse me, because this is an impronounceable name on the forums, JXRVCX Chai. Impossible to pronounce. But,
all right, then.
All right, here we go. She asks, hey, Phil, will you be continuing games which you didn't complete? I believe a lot of people are waiting for you to finish certain games like Tales of Exilia 2. I mean, here's the bottom line. This is unfortunately what ends up happening in a lot of cases with games where they're long, drawn-out games. Especially, it always seems to...
You know what's a really good idea? Maybe. Now, go along with me. You know, I don't want you to, like, think I'm coming up with some stupid shit. You know what I mean? I don't want people to say, oh, man, that's such a bad idea. How could you say that? That's ridiculous. That's impossible. But maybe, just maybe, he could not start playthroughs of long games. Now, I know that's asking a lot. I know that's like an insane thing to ask for a YouTube Let's Player to not start long games and not finish them. But maybe he could just not start long games. Maybe.
Happen with these Japanese-centric games that JRPGs.
Oh, Japanese people make long games,
Japanese
apparently.
culture-centric, okay? They're so freaking long that it's incredibly hard to retain viewership. There's interest initially when I start playing these games.
Okay, so let me get this straight. I'm pausing way more than I planned on pausing, by the way, but he's blaming the game on making the viewers not stick around. So he's basically trying to imply that he didn't finish Tales of Exilia 2 because the viewers didn't stick around. Is it 2 or is it 1? Yeah, Tales of Exilia 2. He's saying that he didn't finish it because the game too long, and because the game long, people didn't stick around.
They're so long and drawn out, it's impossible
because
to
Japanese people make
viewership.
long games, apparently.
I mean, even a game like Fallout 4, which is
Fallout
not Japanese-centric. Just take a look at that playthrough. The first, like, 50 parts had tremendous viewership, and even after that, they started falling down to the end. With the end of the game, I had almost a couple thousand people maybe watching. What a disparity. Over 80,000 people saw part 1 of Fallout 4, and the final parts have, like, 1,000.
A lot of people always see part 1. A lot of people saw part 1 of my shitty Minecraft story mode playthrough, but that don't mean I should not finish it because only like 500 people watched the last part. A lot of people are gonna watch part 1 because the game brand new and it's hot on the YouTube search. And it's hot in the YouTube search engine because a lot of people searching it because it's new, and a lot of people, you know, want to see what the game looked like. People might watch part 1 to see what the game looked like. That don't mean they want to watch a playthrough. Jeez, man, you would think you would know this stuff.
You see what I mean? The longer the game, the more drawn out, the harder it is to retain viewership, and that's why... What's going on outside? That's why, quite honestly, I think it's a plane flying by. Quite honestly, that's why you don't see lots of mainstream YouTubers doing these long, drawn-out JRPG playthroughs. It's that simple, okay? In the case of Tales of Exilia 2, I played Tales of Exilia 1 the summer before. It had come out with great release timing so that I was able to play the entire game during the summer and finish it before the hardcore gaming season had begun, and I actually really enjoyed the game. Then I played Tales of Exilia 2, and I'll be honest, I basically liked it half as much as the first game, because it reused almost all the environments, all the characters, all the game mechanics.
You mean to tell me a sequel, a direct sequel to a game reused stuff from the first game? Wow, those are some shitty game developers, dude.
Forced you to repetitively grind to the point where the playthrough wasn't really very interesting because you had to have hours and hours of repetitive, boring shit I had to do in order...
Maybe you could have not uploaded the boring stuff
to progress with the story. And the bottom line is the timing was also bad. They released it, I believe, in August that year. Not this past year, but I believe it was 2014. And there was no way for me to beat the game in time before the hardcore gaming season started. So unfortunately, I got caught up in the new stuff. And that was it. And people were like, well, why didn't you ever go back to it? Because everything else was coming out. New stuff constantly. People want to see me cover the new stuff. I want to play the new stuff. With Tales of Exilia 2, it was kind of a been there, done that kind of attitude where I played the game. I wasn't super impressed. All right. And at that point, I was like, well, even though I dedicated a ton of time to playing it, I have other stuff to do. And I'd rather.
You know what? To be honest, I wish this person, because this do seem, to be honest, it really do seem like a bait question. So I'm going to add one to that. But I wish they asked about him not finishing Parasite Eve. Because what excuses could he really have for that? People didn't watch it anymore. That would be his only excuse, was views. With Tales of Exilia, he could say, oh, well, it was part 2, it was a sequel, it wasn't that interesting. But with Parasite Eve, it's the first game. So he would have less excuses. He would have to pretty much say the views was trash, so I didn't keep playing it. And now it's so old, I'm not going back to it. But
the other stuff, and my viewership is telling me to do other stuff, and that's what happened with a few games. Like, for example, I just mentioned Disgaea 5. Not that I don't like Disgaea 5, I actually do like it.
And it's another thing that burned me with him. He say his viewership was telling him to do other stuff. No, it wasn't. That's like, okay, this is the equivalent of me putting out a video of me playing, I don't know, fucking Final Fantasy VIII. I'm gonna put out a Final Fantasy VIII video today, right? Out of nowhere. And they get like 300 viewers. And then I put this video out the same day, and they get like 1,000 viewers within 2 days. So based on DSP logic, I could say, well, no one watched me play Final Fantasy VIII, so people don't want to watch me play games anymore. Those 300 people that watched me play Final Fantasy VIII, it's not enough. So I'm just not gonna do videos about games again. This is the way DSP would treat his channel. This is the way he does treat his channel. Because more people show up for the casual bullshit like Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty, the people that show up for stuff like Tales of Exilia 2, they don't matter because there's not enough people. All right then.
But I've hit the point in the game where I think I'm going to have to grind off camera in order to level up my characters enough to progress in the story. I just really don't have the time. I don't have the time to sit here anymore and play what I used to do when I lived in Connecticut and I was single at night when I was done with my work and I was supervising up.
He wasn't single though. He was with Panda Lee for what, 2 years before he moved to the West Coast? Maybe 3? He wasn't single, he just lived by himself.
I would sit there.
And then on top of that, let's be completely honest, that DSP, I done talked about this plenty of times before, DSP streams for 4 hours now. So the original thing I used to say when he would stream for 3 hours and stream for 2 hours is dead. He streamed for 5 hours now. And then at night, if something going on, he record a vlog. So he works for maybe 6 hours a day. He doesn't edit his videos unless it's a vlog or something. And even then it should take him maybe an hour max to edit it. He just a scrub at editing, so it'll take him longer. But even if you live with somebody, even if you married, even if you got kids, if those kids are old enough to be able to fucking comprehend somebody talking to them, dude, YouTube is your job. You should be like, Leanna, I can't fucking cuddle with you tonight. I'm trying to fucking pay the bills and keep us living in this house. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do stuff tonight. But DSP doesn't do that. No. When nighttime hit, he done with everything. And that's the reason why his business is failing now and why he gotta have Amazon links and shirt links and Patreon links and 3 YouTube channels and all this other bullshit just to keep his head above water.
My console on here,
and
then I would have videos or something else playing on my PC, and I'd be grinding endlessly on the console while having like a drink and relaxing while I was doing that. It doesn't exist anymore. Now I live here, in Washington, much different situation. I live with my girlfriend.
He acts like Panda Lee is a 2-year-old child. Legit. Like, she cannot be around you for a night, dude. She'll be all right. She won't die. She won't die of malnutrition or some shit. Speaking of malnutrition, I need to put some water in this cage. But I don't know. DSP is a weird dude, man.
Less free time,
I'm done.
Chores and stuff to do. And the free time that I do have, I'll be quite honest, I'd rather spend with her watching television and doing other stuff rather than sitting there grinding endlessly in an RPG. So unfortunately, I hate to say it.
So he would rather spend time with his girlfriend and make no money than work on something for his business. But then when his business starts to fail, he expects his fans to fix it by buying stuff on Amazon and signing up for Patreon.
but these kind of games that are lending themselves to really super long extended playthroughs that really don't have a lot going on, and it's a lot of repetitive combat, I don't know how actively I'm going to be able to cover them anymore. And you see, you could compare that to a series like Persona 4, where, yeah, Persona 4 had a lot of combat, but it wasn't grinding. It was actually just progressing through the dungeons with no real grinding required. The grinding that I had to do was the side missions, which actually had story to them and were interesting. So there's your comparison. RPG games that are repetitive as hell and take a ton of grinding and time consumption to finish versus a game like Persona, where I think they do it right. It's more about the narrative and stuff, and it actually can get people interested in watching a long playthrough of it. So I don't know. I mean, I'm certainly not saying that these JRPGs that are coming out are out of the question. Absolutely not. And I'm sure they're going to be very high-profile ones. We already mentioned Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah, I'm definitely doing that. And in fact, there's a question coming up for another one that I may possibly be covering as well. But the bottom line is, especially with my new formula, which is about a 3 to 4 hour gameplay stream every day, and then at night me working either on a vlog or an edited video, I don't have this kind of time anymore where I'm going to be sitting and endlessly grinding in these games. You know, it was an era that I did it for a couple of years, and even...
All right. Sorry if you hear like fucking bass coming from outside. Motherfuckers like to play music loud, and these walls are thin as fuck. But he's not saying that these games are out of the question, but he's never gonna go back to Tales of Xillia 2, and he's not even gonna play Fire Emblem Fates. And trust me, Fire Emblem Fates, at least for the first week when it come out, a lot of people are going to be interested in seeing it. A lot of people like Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem Awakening put a lot of people on with the Fire Emblem series. Like, it made a lot of people realize how good it is. But he's going to skip all of that to play a fucking platformer that no one knows about. The only way I even know about it is because I used to use Origin, and that's the only place I ever saw the fucking game, in a walking simulator. Because DSP doesn't play enough walking simulators. Because when you see first-person adventure game, 9 times out of 10 it's a fucking walking simulator. Anyway, I'm sure somebody's gonna post in a comment calling me wrong because it's not really a walking simulator, but it looked like one. But these games are not out of the question. He's just not gonna play Fire Emblem Fates, and he's not gonna go back and be Tales of Xillia 2, and he's not gonna be Parasite Eve, and he's probably never gonna go back to Disgaea 5. These games are not out of the question, guys. Pledge $20 today to get your question answered.
Oh, yeah, I enjoyed doing it. I don't think it's really going to be viable at this point. And I apologize to those who were like, well, I love seeing Phil play JRPGs and spending, you know, a month playing one game and, you know, for a 200 to 300 part playthrough. How can I do it viably? How can I do it and have a business that operates? You know what I mean? That's why you don't see YouTubers usually do
Business.
it. The people who are doing it on YouTube, they're not doing it as a business. And that's real talk.
The people that play these long games on YouTube are not doing it as a business. And that's real talk. But this is coming from the dude that tell us all the time that these other YouTubers, they don't care about you. They don't care about your feedback. They don't care about if you like them or not. They just care about the views. They just care about it's big business to them. But DSP uses the word business more than any other YouTuber ever. But everybody else that's major on YouTube, it's big business to them. But it's not big business to him. But he used the word business more than anybody else. Of course.
You know, and I know some people will be upset about that, but I'm being honest with you. I don't want to sugarcoat shit, you know. It's certainly not out of the question that I would never play JRPGs again. And like I said, Persona 5, definitely playing that when it releases. But it's certainly out of the question that I'm going to be going back to some of these defunct playthroughs. There's zero chance I'm going back to Tales of Xillia 2 because I traded that game in a year ago. So there's no way I'm doing that one. Disgaea 5, even though I'd like to say I'd like to do it and continue it, I don't know how viable it's going to be. We've got 3 straight months of insane amounts of releases, and I know I'm going to be bunkered down here playing them, so I don't know. All right? Okay, next question. Phil, you've been streaming on your website for over 2 years now, and you have IRC as a client built in for your stream chat. Since being able to implement this, do you feel that you're finally starting to come together in regards to YouTube? Meaning, like, you know, having a daily work regimen. I also mean the live capturing and new things that you can do.
Daily work regimen is streaming video games.
You know, it's funny because when I started Direct Capture, I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. This was back in early 2013. So almost 3 years ago now. Yeah, it's almost a 3-year anniversary that I adopted Direct Capture. And I was flubbing along, and at first when I tried doing it, the quality was bad. I was trying to live stream, and I was having tons of issues. Back then, I was live streaming on Twitch TV, right? And then we all know what happened over the course of a year to 2 years. I was on Twitch, and I was liking what I was doing, but then Twitch didn't want me to do the quality of videos that I wanted to do. They wanted me to downgrade, and I wasn't too happy with that, and especially with a lot of the business practices that they had instituted on their website, which I did not fucking agree with. So I said, you know what? YouTube has streaming now. I'm just going to try it over there, and I did, and I'll be honest, I love streaming on YouTube. Streaming on YouTube, I could do it the quality I want. Technically, I don't have too many technical difficulties. I could certainly tell you this, when there's a
Wait, okay. Guess what? He can stream on YouTube at the quality he wants. Sure, he can, but he gets about like 500 less viewers.
a big ass fucking tournament for another game, the entire website doesn't chug along and suck like Twitch does, because it's YouTube. They're huge. You know what I mean? They have the server capacity to handle stuff. Of course, I don't get anywhere near as much viewership as I did on Twitch, because Twitch is the hyped mainstream place to stream. I don't care. I like having a more dedicated viewer base of people who are there to watch me rather than to just watch the game in general, right? And that's really what it was on Twitch. People would jump on my stream and say, wow, the guy's playing the new hyped game.
Okay, you like having a dedicated fan base that watch you and don't just watch the game. But guess what? Those people that come around, those casuals that come around just to see a game and not see you, they might end up liking you and sticking around. When you only cater to a dedicated fan base that can't ever grow because you're streaming on YouTube and no one fucking watches streams on YouTube unless they're already watching somebody else that they already know about, you plug in Patreon and shit to the same people, which is something I talked about on Sunday. He preaching to the choir. He plugging Patreon and he plugging his shirts and he plugging Amazon to the same 200 to 300 people every single day. Unless he gets lucky and he get 1,000 viewers to watch him play Undertale because they want to be salty about him playing the game the wrong in quotes way. But you would rather people come to see you than people come to see the game, when those people that come to see the game might end up liking you more than the game. And then those people can turn into patrons or shirt buyers or whatever. But DSP don't think that way because he fucking stupid.
And then they would be like, well, I don't understand. This guy's not interacting with the stream chat. This guy's not asking for subs. This guy's not doing this and that. All these things that everyone does on Twitch typically. I don't understand it. I must demand that this guy conform to what everyone else does on Twitch. And they didn't get it. And so really when I streamed on Twitch, I didn't get any benefit out of it. I didn't get any kind of growth. I didn't get any new viewers. It was just kind of people coming in and out every day willy-nilly. And it didn't really benefit me. At least on YouTube now, I have my stream.
Let me get this straight. He didn't get new viewers on Twitch. He had like fucking more than 20,000 followers on Twitch, dude. And he had, I think, maybe 200 something subs. And that's without even really asking people to sub to him. Not like most people. And that's how much followers he had and how much subs he had without even notifications. Because people do like notification hype on Twitch. I won't lie to you. Especially when it's a popular person. And DSP was in between. He was in between. But like, he say he didn't get growth out of Twitch. How does he know? He doesn't know. And then people left him when he left Twitch. People stopped watching his stuff, but he didn't get growth from Twitch. Whatever.
And my Raw gameplay all in one spot. That's really the go-to place for Raw gameplay is DSP Gaming. The go-to place for vlogging is right here on the King of...
And then he say having his gameplay in one spot is good. Since when is having everything in one spot good? No, that's not a good thing at all, because if that one spot go to shit, you have nothing. So that's not good.
Vlogs. The go-to place for edited content is my new channel, KO Gaming. I like that. It's a lot better than just willy-nilly who's coming in to watch my shit. I don't even know who the fuck this guy is, and I'll watch him for an hour or so, and then I'll get the fuck out and never talk to him again or know anything about him again. I don't need that. And like I said, I'm not the kind of person who was sitting there and doing those practices that make people financially viable on Twitch, so it didn't benefit me to be there anyway. So, the few weeks now, about 2 weeks, I've been doing this new formula for 2016. The 3-channel formula. I like it. I really do like the new 3-channel formula. And I really feel that as long as I stick with it, and I stay dedicated to it, it's going to be successful. But that's the thing. It's change. I'm going to be playing less games overall. I'm going to be putting out more of different kinds of content overall. And people need to get used to that. And right now, a lot of people have been questioning me about the new channel KO Gaming, saying, Phil, the channel's been live for 2 weeks and you don't even have 5,000 subscribers yet. Aren't you afraid? And I'm like, why would I be afraid? You just said it. The channel's only been live for 2 weeks. There's 4 videos there, none of which have anything to do with new games. You're talking about a review of a game that was already 2 months old, an HD re-release of a game from like the early 2000s, and a game that's been out for 6+ months. Once I start covering new games, when I start covering new releases and I'm doing first impressions of new releases and I'm doing montages from these new releases and I'm reviewing these games over there, then I'm expecting people to get excited about the new stuff. Right now, it just started. I'm glad that I had this month where it was kind of slow to launch this new 3-channel model and start to get people used to it. I really do feel that there'll be a lot of organic growth once new games start coming out, which is very shortly. Like I just mentioned, another week to 2 weeks, you're going to see new games every week coming out, and I'm going to be covering them, and, you know, raw gameplay and the edited stuff. It's going to be fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. So at this point, I really am happy at this point with how things are going. I just need, you know, support from people to stay dedicated that you're going to be watching the new stuff, spread the word about the new channels, and of course you got Patreon. It's not even Patreon. I'm not going to go into depth about it, but that's it. I need your support to support this new 3-channel model. Okay? All right. This next question is from Sammy Samosa, and he says, we know what your favorite video games are, but what are some of your favorite board games? Are you a checkers guy or more of a chess player?
Who fucking cares about what his favorite board games are?
Was more of a chess player.
I'm skipping this. I'm sorry. This is fucking stupid. This is complete nonsense, and it's a 3-minute answer. So who cares?
Like
he didn't even fucking care.
$20.
Right,
anyway, I've talked enough about board games.
Money well
spent.
Next
question. Hey Phil, I'm not sure if you answered this.
As a matter of fact, I don't think this was a $20 question, but who fucking knows? That was a really stupid fucking question.
Similar question before. But if that's the case, I apologize. It's no secret that you made your old Nintendo 3DS playthroughs on your old channel or on your channel private, and we all know why you did that. Okay. What I'm wondering is, what do you think of the idea of moving those 3DS playthroughs to one of your archive channels that have been dormant for several years? These channels, from what I understand, are not partnered, and being archive channels, the risk is minimal or even non-existent. It's not like you're making money off of those anyway, so I figure why not allow your fans to watch those 3DS playthroughs if they choose. All right, in a nutshell, because I don't want to go through the whole
Okay. In before he says he can't do it.
Situation again. I had to make every game that I ever played on the Nintendo 3DS private on YouTube because of false copyright strikes. Basically, YouTube's copyright system is a piece of garbage. It really is. I'm not exaggerating, and that's not me venting. It is a piece of garbage. It's run by robots. So how stupid this is. When I was playing a Nintendo 3DS game, people would make me nice like templates like this for Ask the King, right? So maybe over here, let's say I was playing Zelda. Oh, there'd be a picture of Link up in this corner. What people were able to do was submit that picture of Link from the original artwork from Nintendo and say, well, this was used without copyright permission, right? And without any kind of actually addressing Nintendo, without any kind of actual check and balance system, and someone on YouTube looking and saying, yeah, but that's just a template for them to do a playthrough. This is not stealing the work and reselling it or whatever. They would hit me with a copyright strike. Yeah, that's how bad YouTube's system is. It's a piece of shit. And it's a joke that that would happen, but that happened to me multiple strikes against my YouTube channels. So at that point, I had to take anything that had any artwork whatsoever and make it private, including playthroughs, pre-streams, anything had to be made private. Hundreds and hundreds of videos. It cost me millions of views, and it actually cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm not going to get into how, but it screwed me over. All right? So I can't do it. I can't have those playthroughs live. Now, King Caboose 2003 says, well, why can't you put them on your other channels? What he's talking about is my original Dark Side Phil channel, excuse me. This was the channel that I used from 2008 to 2010 for YouTube stuff until I moved to my newer channel, DSP Gaming.
King Caboose is a detractor. I've seen that username before. I think they follow me. But shout out to him, I guess.
Or I'm sure I could use some of the... I have a channel that I was just doing a Final Fantasy 13 playthrough of on it when the game was newly released because I didn't know if I was going to get copyright issues on that channel or not. There's a Red Dead DSP channel where I was doing Rockstar games in case I got copyright issues on those videos. The bottom line is this. It doesn't matter where I upload it. YouTube system still sucks. So let's say, for example, okay, let's upload The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask from 2015. It was early 2015 when I played that game, and I really enjoyed it, right? It was the 3DS remake. I uploaded to Dark Side Phil. Oh, copyright strikes. Oh, Dark Side Phil's gone. So now we lose all those classic playthroughs. Heavy Rain, Mass Effect, all those classic playthroughs that I did on that channel, gone for good because of bullshit. So that's why. I know I'm not going to chance it, and it's certainly not worth the work and effort for me to set up another new YouTube channel.
Now, I did say in before he doesn't do it, but that does make sense. If he uploaded to one of these old channels as an archive and it get copyright striked and taken down, that means that whole channel is going to get taken offline because he uploaded some other shit to it that like 2 people only going to care about anyway. So yeah, maybe he should make a new channel and call it like DSP 3D archives or some shit. But he won't make money off it, so he won't do it anyway. He only is gonna do something like this if he can make money off it.
Channel to upload them
not
to.
happening.
At this point, sorry, there's 2 parties to blame: the malicious shits that did that to me and are still trying to do that to me, and YouTube's insanely broken copyright system, which they absolutely have refused to fix. I talked to them directly about it, and they basically said, "Tough shit. That's our system, and it's only there to protect us from copyrights, not you, the user. We don't care about you. We care about us getting sued, and we don't want to get sued, so that's why the system is in place. If you don't like it, you don't have to use YouTube." That was the response I got, so I'm boned. I can't upload those 3DS playthroughs again, and they're gone until there's some kind of a resolution. We don't care about you. We care about us getting sued, and we don't want to get sued, so that's why the system is in place. If you don't like it, you don't have to use YouTube. That was the response I got. So
that was not the response he got. Him saying that sounded like just when he left Twitch, when he was like, "Oh, they said if you don't conform to what we want you to do, then you can leave." They didn't say that. DSP fucking put words in everybody's mouth.
I'm boned. I can't upload those 3DS playthroughs again, and they're gone until there's some kind of a resolution. Right now, there is none. Okay. The final question from a patron this month.
Wait. So that Sammy Samosa $20 question, that was a $20 question, asking what board games he likes. Somebody paid $20 to ask this dude what board games he likes. Are you fucking serious? That's so fucking dumb. And King Caboose paid $20 to ask him about the 3DS stuff? Whatever, I'm done.
Again,
I'm not even
going
going
to
to say
get your question
anything.
answered on next month's episode of Ask the King.
I have nothing else to say.
Right here, in the corner there. Patreon.com/DarkSidePhil. This one's from Low Tier Lord, and he asked
Low Tier Lord gave DSP $20 to ask him about possibly returning to competitive Street Fighter with Street Fighter V. He said he might do that. So you asking him something he said he might already do. And he won't do it because he don't have the money to.
Hey Phil, I was wondering if after the release of Street Fighter V, would you go back to local tournaments around the area? In fact, the Northwest
local
majors
tournaments with his laggy ass
Zangief pretty quickly. And I'm actually going to be going to that. I guess my question is,
his laggy ass Zangief that can't even get a fucking spinning power driver to come out.
Let me put it this way. I am not going to jump the gun. And what I mean by that is when Street Fighter 4 was coming out, I really liked the game. And I said to everyone, I'm going to be going to tournaments and I'm going to be covering it. And I really did like the vanilla version of Street Fighter 4, even though I thought it was very unbalanced. I went to tournaments and I covered it, right? Then, subsequently, when the later versions of Street Fighter 4 were coming out, I was getting annoyed because they kept changing the fucking game. And unlike the people who were like hyper dedicated to playing Street Fighter 4, I was playing it more casually, even though I would play it a lot. It was a lot less than people who were in the competitive scene.
How you was playing Street Fighter casually, but you was spending money to go to tournaments? What?
And I was falling out of touch with the things that were the changes in the different versions of the game. And this was when my YouTube channels were exploding and becoming popular, so I wanted to dedicate more time to YouTube than just playing Street Fighter. And so I kind of fell off. And then over the years, I would still cover new fighting games, but I wouldn't get competitive with them, okay? If Street Fighter V ends up being a game that I start playing it and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm like, man, this game is great, and I'm playing it online, I'm having tons of fun, I would consider looking for tournaments in this area. I live right here in Seattle.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of them out there.
Seattle. Probably to get to the more urban part of Seattle where they'd have these tournaments, I'd probably have to drive 45 minutes.
It's probably Street Fighter V tournaments out there now.
Here's the factor that everyone
like people playing a cracked version of the game on PC.
When I do gaming, I do it for their enjoyment, but I also do it for business. It's a dual-sided now because this is my job, this is my life.
Business.
Right? If I go to a tournament, Street Fighter tournament, all right, chances are I'm not going to be able to record every match. I'm not going to be able to upload that footage anymore. I mean, I used to do that, and then more and more as I was doing it, I was told you can't film here anymore because we're actually live streaming and direct capturing our own footage for our own channels to make money, so you can't do that anymore. So really what you're talking about me doing is going to tournaments
a lot
for
on that kind of
competitive
stuff.
nature. I'll be honest, the prizes for these tournaments aren't very great unless you're talking a national scale tournament. So even if I were to play the shit out of the game, go to the tournament and win,
he wouldn't win
though. Not
though.
even going to be financially viable or anything like that. Chances
Financially
are I
viable.
win the tournaments anyway.
See, this is the thing. People that it's motherfuckers that don't do internet stuff for a job. It's people that have like regular 9-to-5 jobs and go to these little shitty rinky-dink tournaments just to, build their rep up and just to get experience. When you go into a tournament, a rinky-dink tournament, and the first thing that comes to your mind is the business and if it's financially viable, you don't need to waste your time going to that tournament because you going there, you're wasting your time and you're wasting everybody else's time now because they playing the game to be better at the game and to meet other people that's good at the game to get better at the game. And you there hoping you win so you can win some money, and you there hoping you can film some videos so you can get some money. So he don't even need to waste his time with that.
Probably wouldn't be able to dedicate the amount of time to it that these other people will be dedicating to it, okay? And for the business, it would be nothing.
For the business.
I'd be going to the tournament, coming back. Yeah, maybe I'll take some pictures for Instagram and social media. I'll share how I'm doing in the tournament. Maybe film a couple of my own matches because I really don't think they can hold a candle and say you can't record your own shit. I'd be like, fuck you. It's mine. It's my gameplay, so it's mine. Fuck you.
Fuck
but besides that, it wouldn't be anything major for the business. So that's kind of the thing. Personally, if I really loved the game and I really love it to the point where I want to get competitive with it, I'll do it. But I would have to find a way to balance that to keep the business afloat.
Business.
That's kind of the dual
Jesus
edge.
Fucking
When I started
Christ.
on YouTube in 2008, 2009, and Street Fighter V was huge. I could film whatever I wanted. I could put it on YouTube. I was attending tournaments. I was getting ad revenue on the videos, and that's not like that anymore. Now it's become completely commercial. These tournaments want to live stream their own shit, record their own shit, and make money on their own shit, which they have the right to. But that means that basically me attending a tournament is kind of a thing just for me rather than for the business. So if I get the competitive bug back for Street Fighter V and I really want to play this game at a competitive level, I'll consider doing it. And I'll have to try to find a way to balance it. Maybe attend a tournament that's on a weekend, right? And instead of 2 days of me doing my normal stuff, okay, 2 days away from that for me to attend this tournament, and then I'll vlog it maybe, and I'll come back and I'll tell you what I thought and how it worked and stuff like that. Great, but I don't want to promise that, especially because at this point, out of all the betas that I played of Street Fighter V, I'd say Zangief, I love the character.
Another thing I want to say before we get off of this, to be honest, DSP could go to some rinky-dink ass tournament and probably pay like $25 and get in. And just play it, man. Like, even if you win, even if you lose, and even if you win and get like $200 for winning, you got to play against people offline without lag. Remember when he played MKX and he was like, oh, this is a great game. This could be a really good game offline. You have the opportunity to play against real people offline. Like people on the West Coast. There's a lot of motherfuckers on the West Coast and the East Coast that play these games in all kind of little rinky-dink ass tournaments all over the fucking place. He could probably drive around the corner and find a Street Fighter 4 tournament. Go to that shit, spend like $20 fucking dollars. Instead of buying a pizza for the weekend, you could spend $50 and get yourself in the tournament pool. Play at some random ass tournament for a few hours on a Saturday or a Sunday. See how good you can do. And then even if you win or even if you lose, you got better at the game legitimately. Because DSP logic is you can't get better playing online. And to be honest, I kind of feel that way too. You can get better at knowing stuff, like knowing matchups and shit, but you can't react to somebody else if they playing online, depending on how bad or how good the connection is. But I don't know why he can't apply himself to do that, because it's not good for the business.
One or two of the new characters, like Rashid, I liked the character, but some characters I didn't like. And I don't want to say, oh, I'm going to get super into this game if I end up, after playing it for 2 months, not liking how the game has adjusted to a competitive level. We'll see. It's all about we'll see. Is the possibility there?
We'll see.
Absolutely. Is it a definite possibility or strong possibility? I don't know. We have to see how things go with Street Fighter V in just a couple weeks. It's actually 2 weeks. Shit, okay, 2.5 weeks. and then I'm going to start playing the hell out of the game, and we'll find out for ourselves.
2.5 fucking weeks. Holy shit.
Before we move on to the
weeks.
common questions, meaning people who submitted their questions on my forums and on Twitter and Facebook, I want to do the special thank yous. Because like I said, I'm not doing my podcast anymore. So this will be the segment where I say thank you to the following patrons who in the month, in the month of December, pledged $10 or more and basically helped me out and allowed me to keep doing it.
Yeah, we
This question is from Purple Pod.
Purple Pod, that's a Detractor.
Because I have no idea from that name the gender of the person. In your 7 or 8 years of making gameplay videos, were there any specific moments that stand out to you or have made you the happiest?
This is kind of a big question because you know he's going to answer it because it inflates his ego.
Games that you've loved. You know, there's things over the years that obviously stand out to me that were really fun times that were just kind of full of enjoyment and just. I remember initially when I started on YouTube, I had no clue anyone would ever be interested in the shit that I was doing. It was on a whim, and it blew the fuck up. And I couldn't believe it that people were so interested in just seeing me play games and dick around and swear and rage at the games, but also make jokes. And when I did playthroughs of games like Mass Effect and Heavy Rain and stuff in those earlier days, it really was a different, almost organic feeling. Like, who knows where the future lies at that point? I had never put an ad on a video. I'd never made a cent doing it. I didn't know if anything would ever turn out from it. But at that point, it was just, you know, an amazing thing to see that people really liked me and my personality and the stuff that I had to share with people during gameplay. And then I would say it kind of changed because in the years of 2011 and 2012, when I was making money doing this and able to pay off all my financial debts and shit because of it, then what I liked is that I now had almost an authoritative reach. Meaning when important shit was going down, like remember SOPA and PIPA and what was it, S.978 or 678, whatever it was, all those bills that were going to shut down gaming on YouTube, and I was able to actually have a voice and spread the word about that shit and get people actively involved in shutting it down. That felt amazing, but now...
It's funny he say that because something like this was about to happen recently, and he didn't talk about it at all. He probably didn't even know about it.
Only that in particular to gameplay, all the peripherals like the Kinect and the PS Move, people wanted to see, gee, does this shit work? Viably, what are these games? And I was able to take the money I was making and put it into the business to buy those things and show you firsthand that most of them were garbage, but some of them were actually fun. Remember Start the Party? Remember Rise of Nightmares? Remember the vast majority of varied stuff that I did over the years with the motion controls and was able to show you actively what that was? That was an amazing experience. You know what? E3, even though quite honestly being in person at E3 in 2012 wasn't that big of a deal because most of the shit at E3 is public anyway and you can just fucking cover it by being at home over the internet. Just being there in person made me feel like, wow, this is the big time. I'm appreciated. People really respect my opinions. They want to see me cover this firsthand. That was an amazing feeling. And if anything, that's one of the things I'm disappointed with is that I haven't been able to go back to E3, quite honestly, because I can't afford it. It's not because I can't get in. I know I could get in because there's people who are much smaller than me on YouTube who are able to get in. It's actually a lot easier now if you're a YouTuber to get into an event like E3. My problem is I just don't have the funds to do it. You know, but my focus has been on improving the business and moving.
Improving his focus been improving a business. Yeah, the only thing he did to improve the business last year was buy soundproofing and buy a new mic. Okay, something he should have had in 2009, but whatever. Remember he was supposed to go to some gaming convention like the summer last year, and Machinima was gonna like pay his way in or some shit. I forget the name of it. Was it PAX? I think it was PAX. I think it was. Because don't they have a PAX East, a PAX South, and a PAX West? Or some stupid shit? I think it was PAX. I don't remember. But I know Machinima was supposed to pay him to go into something. And he didn't go. And then he was like, oh, I didn't go because I was sick. But then he didn't talk about it. He talked about it way before. And then he didn't talk about it when it was close. And then when he got sick, he talked about it saying he didn't go because he was sick, but he got sick after it started. It was really weird. I think Machinima was telling them they might be able to get him in, but then they couldn't at the last minute, and he just kind of pretended like that wasn't the case.
Across the country,
this is irrelevant
now,
but
things,
yeah.
But now I'm in a financial rut, so I can't
Just
do
something
things like travel and stuff like that.
Popped up in my head. Take a sip.
Feed reactions. Are you kidding me? You have no idea how many thousands of people have responded to me over the years saying, Phil, because I saw you playing this particular game and enjoying it, or raging at it or whatever. I went out and bought the game for myself, and I'm loving it. So thank you so much for sharing your experiences. So many people have said that I am the person who, when they're bored or they're down, that they could just put on one of my playthroughs and play it and watch it and enjoy it and get immersed in it and just let it, float away their problems and just be somewhere else and have fun with this whole interactive YouTube thing.
The funny thing is, who is having fun with DSP content in 2016 when I guess these people that have fun with his videos completely ignore his pre-streams and don't look at his Twitter, because he go emo mode on Twitter all the time. His pre-streams are him talking about views, him talking about all of this other shit that people don't care about, and his fucking weekend preview even is him, I don't know if I'll be able to keep the business going at this current rate. How are you going to be in a good mood watching that? If I'm depressed, I'm going to watch this and be like, damn, I'm fucking more depressed now because this dude can't even pay his bills and I'm liking his videos. So he might go away too. I don't know.
You don't know how good that makes me feel, really. Like, to know that I've had some kind of a positive contribution to the human race, because before YouTube, I didn't have any reach. The only reach I really had was the Street Fighter community, which at that point I was so disgruntled with and just didn't give a fuck about anymore. And besides, I had an office job that really wasn't appreciating me. It was overworking me, did not appreciate what I was putting into the company. And it was like, what am I going to do with my life? I had absolutely no idea of what I could do to be any kind of a contributive, constructive, or positive part of society. YouTube turned all that shit around, man. It did. And even right now, I know, even if the business fell through and I wasn't able to continue doing this full-time, even just putting out videos part-time would be an awesome thing, to keep sharing my life experiences with you and doing vlogging and maybe playing a game from time to time. Even though obviously that's not what I want to do. I want to do this full-time. I would never give up this whole experience. Okay? So, I know that this guy's asking for specific instances. It's very hard for me to narrow down when I've done this for 8 years. Oh, I'm this one right here and this one right here. Really, I can't, But over the years, just a body of work. Can you name one fucking person on the planet
Earth? How much videos you have?
Put more of themselves on the internet than I have. Someone who's put out 40,000 gameplay videos, thousands of vlogs and vlogging hours. You know what I mean? I think I've covered more and shared.
I could put out 40,000 gameplay videos too if I play a game for 20 hours in 1 week and upload it in 15-minute chunks.
More of my life with people than anyone ever on the internet. And you could say, oh, but what about this major corporation or this professional level of channel? Yeah, people who are like teams of people, right?
Teams of people,
who have
people,
people, I dare you to find someone who's shared more of their life than I have on the internet over the past 8 years. And it's been an amazing ride. It really has. And I want it to continue. And, thank you.
But remember,
just thank you to those.
He shared more of his life than anyone else on the internet. But when people tell him stuff about his own life that he originally told those people, then he says those people are stalkers.
Of you who have been there for the ride, who are looking forward to the positive changes this year.
Positive changes.
Feeling good.
Feeling good.
Let's do one more question, then we'll take I'll take a short break.
I need to take a break
and
too.
Then we'll move on to part 2.
This shit.
All right. So this question is from Hell Knight 54. Who asks, hey Phil, I want to know your opinion on almost every new release that is published by publishers like Activision.
I don't care about this question.
They always seem to be coming out now with a season pass or some kind of, DLCs before the game's even released. A lot of gamers believe that these $50 season passes and the microtransactions that also seem to be attached to these games are going to be the end of gaming. Do you believe that? Will they be the end of gaming? No. Will they be a part of the evolution of gaming? Yes. Because I think what's happening more and more these days.
Blame it on Oblivion.
Gaming has become such a big business
that now there's
DLC.
Market cannibalization. Ain't been the same since.
When I was growing up in the 80s, 90s, and even to some extent the 2000s, okay, there weren't so many game developers and so many video games coming out that they would kill each other in the market, right? Like, even just to be honest here, when I started covering games for YouTube, 2008 to 2010. There weren't that many high-profile releases all the time. You were having maybe 1-2 a month where these are like must-have AAA games that people want to play, right? Now they're out all the fucking time. And not only that, but then you've got the indie games that are coming out and are just as good as everything else. So the market is becoming so oversaturated with new games that it's cannibalizing itself, all right? So what's happening now is these big game publishers are afraid. They don't want to sink years of development, millions of dollars into developing a game that they're going to try to sell for a full retail price, $60, and then it doesn't make a lot of money. Okay, it doesn't pair off well for their investment. That's how they feel it from a business perspective, that they invested all this time and money and efforts and resources and it didn't deliver the way that they had hoped. So now what they're trying to do is find additional revenue streams. Well, at least if the game doesn't sell...
Wait, that sounds just like DSP. The stuff the time he's sinking and everything ain't working out, so now you need additional revenue streams. Patreon, Amazon affiliate link, Teespring, soap.
Great, up to the insane expectations that we lived it up to. Well, at least people will continue to buy the DLC packs. They'll buy the season pass that doubles the purchase price of the game. And, that's how we'll make up our money. And, I have to say I'm guilty of this because last year, I'm a sucker. I will 100% admit it. I am a sucker. Even though I'm strongly against these season passes, I bought the season pass for Batman Arkham Knight. I'm a dumb shit because that was one of the worst season passes available. It had 2 story-based DLCs that were worth playing, each of which was around 90 minutes long, roughly. And outside of that, it was a bunch of little
said about himself.
map challenge packs with the Batmobile that were crap. 1 or 2 character packs. Remember, one had, what was it? One was Catwoman and one was Robin, I think. And those were incredibly short, like you beat them in 15 minutes. It was a complete ripoff. There was nothing in that season pass to warrant the price tag whatsoever. It was a bait and switch because they initially gave you that cool Batgirl story pack as the first piece of content to make you think that it was worth it. So everyone bought the season pass, played it, and said, oh, this is really cool. It's worth it. Everyone should buy the season pass. Everyone did, and then you didn't get anything until December that was worth playing again.
That's not a bait and switch.
I was a victim of it.
Because if they bought the
DLC
and then bought the season pass, they stupid. And if they already bought the season pass, it wasn't a bait and switch because they bought the season pass.
Microtransactions at least are not bait and switch. Season passes in a lot of cases are because they promise you the world and then they don't deliver. Microtransactions, it's your fault if you put additional money into the game. If you're playing this multiplayer game, I got to unlock this thing right away rather than put 25 hours of gameplay into it to unlock it. I'm going to put money into the game, microtransaction, boom, instant gratification. That's on you. That's not on the game developer because they're offering you a product and you actively choose to buy it. So it's different from a season pass where maybe they're promising you great content, you buy.
That's also wrong. At least the way he explained it, it seems wrong because it's your fault if you buy if you get a microtransaction item. So for instance, you buy a skin in Black Ops 3, which you can't unlock without buying it. But it's your fault if you buy that for like $2. But it's not your fault if you bought the DLC because they promised the world. I gotta hear this again. This don't sound right to me.
Multiplayer game, I gotta unlock this thing right away rather than put 25 hours of gameplay into it to unlock it. I'm gonna put money into the game, microtransaction, boom, instant gratification. That's on you. That's not on the game developer because they're offering you a product and you actively choose to buy it. So
but a season pass is them offering the product and us choosing to buy it. So how is the season pass not our fault also? You can unlock a season pass. You can't unlock that stuff. Just like a lot of times with microtransactions, you can't unlock that stuff either. It's for a mobile game, sure. It'll be like, oh, well, you can spend $5 to get this, or you can play for 20 hours. But with a game like, for instance, Black Ops 3, you have a weird skin for a gun. You can't unlock it. You have to buy it. But how is it all fault if we buy that and not all fault if we get the season pass? Whatever. It's kind of like, I feel like DLC. I feel like DSP saying that to make himself seem not as bad because he buys season passes. Because I can't really completely understand what point he's trying to make.
Different from a season pass where maybe they're promising you great content, you buy it, and then they give you shit. That's the difference here between the two. I really, at this point, have to say I'm against season passes. I'm so against season passes that even though in the past, both Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas have delivered outstanding DLC.
I'm so against season passes. I have the season pass for Black Ops 3, and I'm going to be playing Black Ops 3 expansion stuff in the next couple of weeks.
Expansions. I have not bought the season pass for Fallout 4, and I refuse to do it. I'm just going to buy them one by one. And even if
he's going to buy them one by one and spend more money.
If I end up spending $10 to $15 extra fucking doing that, at least I know I didn't buy the first one and it was shit, And now,
but guess what? Buying them one by one and giving them the extra $10, you helping them more. Like if for instance, if they put out, I don't know anything about Fallout 4 DLC because I'm not going to play the game anymore. But if they're putting out 4 DLC packs, right? And you can get all 4, I'm making up numbers now. If you can get all 4 for $30, or you can get each one for $15 a piece. If you buy 2, then you gave them the season pass amount. That's why they price it like that, because they want you to screw yourself over if you buy them individually, and they want to be able to screw you over if you buy the season pass. So either way, you lose.
Oh, well, I bought the season pass, so I'm stuck with all of them. No, I'm not doing that shit anymore. I refuse. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
But you got fooled twice before.
Rocksteady and the Batman game developers.
Shame on Rocksteady.
But shame on me if I fucking buy another one and the same shit happens because I should have.
But you got the season pass for Black Ops 3.
And that's how we should all treat this. We all know we've all been burned now. So if you buy the season pass,
you're supporting
that practice.
I haven't been burned. Only season pass I ever bought was Battlefield 4.
And you're actually
I played that game for like $300.
Additional money on the same fucking game. That's crap. All right.
All right.
But microtransactions, I think, are the future. And I hate to say
it.
I think you're going to find more games that are addictive, more games that aren't about story development or anything like that, but where you're going to want to time sink, money, keep little
so phone games, because that's not going to work with a console game.
You spent $1,000 on a game that was a $60 release, or a free-to-play game that you spent $1,000 on for your gratification.
Yes.
And a lot of the time,
microtransactions that enable you to spend thousands of dollars or the future for $60 console games. That won't kill gaming. But a $50 season pass will, because a microtransaction don't promise you anything, but a season pass promises you the world. We heard it first from DSP, guys. Are you fucking kidding me? That might be the dumbest thing I ever heard. This is not the dumbest thing I heard. I'm exaggerating. But that's the dumbest thing I heard in a while about video games. That sounds so fucking ridiculous. Microtransactions are the future. They won't kill gaming, but season passes will. They could. Season passes are the past. Microtransactions are the future. $60 games. Yeah, okay.
What really sucks about microtransactions is it's gambling, because you don't get what it would be one thing, spend $5 and you get that rare drop or weapon that you're looking for. No, spend $5 and get a random card pack where you may get something good or you may get a bunch of crap.
That's not all microtransactions, though. He talking about like fucking battle packs or something. When you spend like $2 and you get a loot drop, and you just check the stuff in it and see if you get like an elite package or some bullshit. That's not all microtransactions. This is not gambling. What is he talking about? What? Did somebody show him like a spreadsheet for H1Z1 and he thought all microtransactions worked that way?
And it's gambling. It's basically legalized gambling.
No, it's not. Not for every game.
I don't know how it's legalized. I think that, in my opinion,
it should be illegal.
If you're going to spend money, you should get what you want. So if really that rare gun, is so rare and they want to charge $100 for it, charge $100 for it.
Don't make me
buy $25 random card packs to hopefully open up a pack and get that one gun that I fucking wanted the whole time, right? That's the problem. It's legalized gambling. I don't know how the hell it could even be allowed. If anything, I don't think that those who regulate gambling are even looking at this microtransaction stuff in video games.
But all microtransactions don't work that way.
Gambling at its core.
These are like item pack microtransactions, dude. Every game don't do that.
Destroyed and ruined
and
by
fucking mobile games do it, but mobile games are shit anyway.
And we stand up and we say we're not going to be buying season passes anymore because we got burned. They're not going to exist. The problem is they don't learn their lesson. They get burned, but they keep buying them. So the longer you keep getting fucked and let yourself get
people
fucked,
buying because they think they're saving money.
Over fist, they're not going to go away. Microtransactions, I don't think will go away because people will get addicted and will continue to spend their money on shit that's not guaranteed. And I think it's sick and it's wrong.
Microtransactions won't go away because they don't cost anything to develop.
We all spend money on the lottery. Remember when the Powerball was huge a couple weeks ago? I went to the store and bought a couple Powerball tickets,
I
didn't. What I mean. We're all in this mentality.
We all, everybody.
Get that one rare thing we want.
Everybody.
And gamble, and people will always have microtransactions because of that, in my opinion. And will it ruin games? No, because I think that kind of game that have
DSP has microtransactions now. Being a $5 patron, a $1 patron, that's a microtransaction. It's a small amount of money that's very insignificant, and you might not notice if you get rid of it or not. If somebody take $1 out of your bank account, will you notice it? Not really, unless you check your shit every 2 hours. But if you go to sleep on Monday, and then you wake up Tuesday, wake up Wednesday, wake up Thursday, whatever. If you go to sleep Monday and check your bank account, right? And then Friday you check your bank account and it's $1 lower, are you really going to notice that dollar missing? Probably not. That's how microtransactions are. You won't notice $1 or $2 missing. Even if you spend it, you won't notice it because it's $1 or $2. It's insignificant. So DSP has microtransactions also. But I don't think he understands microtransactions at all. He think all microtransactions are gambling in games. And yeah, he wrong about a lot of the stuff he said right there.
Is a different animal from the kind of games that are the bigger budget development AAA games that really we should be spending our time on, but that's just my opinion. I'm sure there's people who love these games, these MMOs, these free-to-play games like Destiny, right? Microtransactions out the ass. And Halo, oh my god, Halo 5 had microtransactions, which I can't fucking believe. It is what it is. All right.
Whatever.
That's
we done
part
with this one
of Ask the King. I'll be
I
back
have
shortly
nothing
with
else
part
to say.
2, which you got tons more questions to answer, okay? So don't go anywhere. I'll
Fucking
be back shortly.
DSP.
Check out for part 2 right here on the King of Hate vlog. Should be going live shortly if it's not live by the time that this video goes live. Thanks for watching. See you in part 2.
Good Lord. Well, let me load part 2 up now.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. This is part 3. Part 1. This is part 2. Okay. I love how the likes and dislikes are still disabled. Tamina is anything but excellent in the ring. She's downright awful. That's the truth. Tamina fucking sucks. He said Tamina was a good wrestler. I wish I could get my questions answered. Rest in peace, Wallet. Oh, Kappa. But yeah, I'm gonna be back. Maybe. I don't fucking know. I think I'm recording. Almost really fucked up because I almost started talking and wasn't recording. But this is Ask the King, episode 57, January 28, 2016, part 2, horror cliches, WWE divas, graphics, and modern gaming. So I don't think I'm going to care about any of this. But it's 34 minutes long, so let's get this show on the road.
Mail, motherfucker!
Haha.
Haha.
All right, everyone. Well, welcome back. This is part 2
Who's
of
like
Ask
Cody
the King
from
for
Street
January
Fighter.
2016.
Aha.
If you have not seen part 1 yet, definitely head over and watch it right here on the King of Hate vlogs. It should already be live, okay?
Got me
So let's jump right
a
into it. We got
refreshed
many
drink.
more questions to answer. Our first question of part 2 comes from
You know what I mean?
Chief 052. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, the Chief 052 asks the following.
Let's see.
Phil, you've obviously been getting
Okay,
a lot
we're
of
good.
review copies in late 2015.
Is this
at
a
least
Bay
more
question?
than you have been getting them in the past. And before you did, you were buying most multi-console games for the PlayStation 4 because you prefer that console this generation. I, for one, was very happy that you were doing this because that meant I could play the multiplayer games that you got. But now, it seems like you've been getting review copies that have been mostly been on the Xbox One console. So
Okay, I got to go off topic a little bit here, but something I wanted to say, and it's something I said a couple of months ago, maybe about a month or 2 months ago. Machinima was giving him all of them promotional copies of games, free copies, review copies, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Motherfucker even got one of Fallout 4, which is like the holy fucking grail of review copies of games. You know, motherfuckers will be lit to get any fucking game for free to play on YouTube or to play on the internet. But anyway, he was getting all these review copies, and then Machinima tell him that they lower in his pay, and then try to re-sign him. And then he went back to Machinima, which is probably exactly what, of course, it's exactly what they wanted. But what I'm thinking is not even really what I'm thinking. What I'm looking forward to, what I'm interested in seeing is if 5 months from now, 6 months from now, is he still going to be getting review copies of games or promotional copies of games through Machinima? And if he stopped, like if he gets no more from now on, that means Machinima completely fucked him. Machinima gave him those review copies of games and promotional copies of games to make him think he was like doing good and he would continue to get those if he resigned. Like, how could I explain it? It's like, I really can't come up with a good way to explain it. The best way I could explain it is to give the exact same situation, but in a different circumstance, or the exact same circumstance in a different situation, whatever. Like, for instance, I'm working at McDonald's, and I have a pretty average job at McDonald's, nothing crazy going on. But then out of nowhere, the manager at McDonald's started giving me like bonuses every week. I'm getting a $50 bonus every week, a $100 bonus every week, for no fucking reason. I'm just getting bonuses now. And then the manager come to me and say, "Oh, I'm gonna have to lower your pay by 50 cents each hour." And I'm like, "Shit. Well, I've been getting bonuses the last few weeks, so why the fuck not? You can lower it by 50 cents because I'm gonna get a bonus at the end of the week. I was gonna make up for it anyway." And then I continue to go to work, and I don't get a bonus anymore. It's kind of like that, but in the McDonald's situation, you wouldn't be signed to a contract. But it's kind of like that, except you would be signed to a contract at McDonald's. So you ain't getting the bonus no more because the manager fucked you over and made you think you would keep getting bonuses when you wouldn't, and you're getting paid less. And I don't think DSP is going to be getting those bonuses anymore. And I made another bad analogy about burgers, because I always do.
Your personal preference choice.
You know what I mean?
That been the developer's choice.
But hopefully you get what I was talking about right there. Hopefully you understand my point.
To switch from PS4 to Xbox One. If not, what should happen to people like me who want to play the newest multiplayer games with you, but you're owning them all now on the Xbox.
He won't play with you anyway unless you give him money, unless it's the end of the year.
So there's basically two questions in one. The first question is, I've been getting review copies. At least in late 2015, I was getting review copies of games, but most of them seem to be on Xbox One. What's up with that? Was that an active choice of mine or not? And number two, what's going to happen with people who want to play games multiplayer with me? What should be the console of choice? All right. So first half of the question.
All right, I'm not
let me
trying to
explain
pick
to you the process by which I get review copies of games. It's all because I am a managed partnership with Machinima.
Here we go. Snort.
And what happens is from time to time, I'll get an email from Machinima that will say, "What games are you interested in playing in the next several months?" All right. So last year, 2015, I believe I got 3 of these emails. I got one, I believe it was in like early February of
Here we go, getting too much information.
Excuse me. And
not really too much, but just unnecessary info.
Mid-2015, and then one around September, October of 2015. And what I would do is I would fill out, it would actually have a list. It wouldn't be like, tell us the games. It would be like, out of these releases, which are you planning on playing? And so I would check off this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, whatever ones I was planning on playing. And then it would say, what is your console of choice for each game? So I would say, do you want on PS4 or Xbox One? Quite honestly, I remember for a lot of them, I did check off PS4. For some, I checked off both if I had no major preference, okay?
I almost really fucked myself up right now.
I would do that 3 times.
Sorry about that.
Year. And you might think, oh, gee, well, that's great. And then you would get a list of the review copies you're going to get so you could plan ahead and everything. No, that never happened. Here's literally what would happen. The morning of the game, sometimes a little earlier than that, but usually it was the morning of the release of the game, I'd get an email. Sometimes it would be from Machinima. Sometimes it would actually be from a PR company that was hired on behalf of the game developer. And they would say, "Phil, congratulations, we're sending you a review code for this game, or an advanced copy of this game, or a promotional copy of this game." They would all be worded differently. "Here's your code. By the way, the code is for this console. Enjoy." Now, sometimes there'd be criteria, like, if you are using this code, you have to put in the description of your video that you received this copy of the game for free.
Like what it did with Tomb Raider.
Other times there'd be no restraints whatsoever. Sometimes they'd even be like, "We don't even know if you're going to play the game or not, but here's just a free code." Okay? And that happens. Sometimes I just get codes out of the blue. Games I never even planned on playing.
Dude, DSP, if he put not even a lot of effort, if he just fucking typed up a generic email and spammed that shit to indie devs, he would get so much fucking free games. Because the dude got, let's be completely honest, he got 180-something thousand subs. Of course, a lot of them don't stick around and watch his shit, but that's still 180,000 subs. That equals clout when it comes to doing video gaming stuff on the internet. And like people be like, "Oh, Phil, play The Witness." He could probably fucking email the devs for The Witness and be like, "Yeah, I got this YouTube channel. Couple hundred people asked me to play the game. Would you mind sending me a review copy?" And he would probably get it. but he don't go through that extra little bit of effort to not really even sell out. Some people call it selling out, to be honest. I mean, whatever. It's whatever. But that's how I would say it's a wash. But I don't know why he don't go through that extra little bit of effort to try to get review copies out of these indie devs, because I know a lot of them thirsty to have a mainstream YouTuber play that shit. And I'm sorry, but DSP considers himself not mainstream, and he not mainstream in the sense of everything he do is popular. But he does YouTube for a living still, and he got 180,000 subs, and he got a managed partner account. So that's pretty mainstream to me. But I don't know why he don't go through the extra effort to try to finesse free games out of these indie devs, because I know they'll be thirsty to send
Here's
them.
a code. So,
but instead he buys games like
I
that.
get no advanced warning, and I don't even know what console I'm going to get a game on. Now, late last year, if you remember, the last quarter of 2015, I got games such as Rainbow Six Siege, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
He got Xbox One copies because Microsoft is thirsty, because they want to sell our system. So Machinima had more copies to give away.
Star Wars Battlefront, and a few others. I got them all for Xbox One.
You know what I mean?
Now, I didn't ask for Xbox One. That's just what I got. I was just told, here, we're going to give you a copy on this console. Enjoy. When I got my review copy of Fallout 4, it actually said in the envelope that I was supposed to get a copy on each console. They were like, we hope that you enjoy your copies for both PS4 and Xbox One, but all I got was Xbox One. So it's completely random. It's not planned. There's no warning. Sometimes, this has actually happened, I got a code of the game after the game released. I remember last year it was Dying Light, where I had bought the game already, and then I got the code of the game later in the day when I was already playing the game. I got a code for it, and I said, well, can I give this away? And I was told, no, you can't give it away, because this was a copy only for, promotional purposes. It's not like any general person is supposed to get this code. It's supposed to be like you're playing the game, you're doing a playthrough, and you're promoting the game. So, it sucks.
That's really fucking dumb, because he was already playing the game. They sent him a code and he couldn't give the code away because he was already playing the game. To be honest, I would have fucking gave it away anyway. It's not like they're going to know who got the code. I would have gave it away anyway because he already was playing the game. But that's really weird. That's really weird. And you know something I just thought about? A lot of people that do YouTube for even a side thing and have a moderate viewer base, like lower than DSP, like, I don't know, maybe 20,000, 30,000. It's people on Twitch with like 20,000 followers that do giveaways and shit, like linked up with like actual fucking companies, like Lenovo and shit. And it's like, oh, well, I'm doing a giveaway with Lenovo. You follow me and sub to me and follow Lenovo and sub to Lenovo, and you get 40 fucking entries, but you just follow and sub. No, you just follow us and you get 2 entries. It's like, I'm kind of rambling, but DSP never did a giveaway like that. He never did one of those sellout, I'm popular on the internet giveaways. And I know somebody will do it. I know somebody would do it. Like some, at least indie dev would be like, yeah, we'll give you 5 copies of the game for free. And you give away the copies of the game to your followers or your subs or whatever. It's weird. Really weird.
A lot of the time.
And of course you got the fact that he doesn't just spend money to do these giveaways either. But he don't even need to spend money to do giveaways. He ought to be able to get giveaways for free. Weird. Like those cross-promotional giveaways. He never did.
I don't right now.
Oh.
Out of the blue, I could get a code
I'm rambling.
for a game. And I have no responsibility to play the game, especially if it's not a game that I asked for a code for, but it just happens sometimes. So I had no active plans to play many of the games that I played in late 2015 on the console that I played them on. But the bottom line is this. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. If I'm getting a free copy of a game, I'm going to play that free copy of the game on the console that I got it for. I'm not going to say, well, now I'm going to go spend another $60, especially in the case of some of the games like Star Wars Battlefront. Like, I remember, I was originally going to buy that on PS4. I got it on Xbox One. Thank God I didn't buy it on PS4 to have 2 copies, because the game sucks. Quite honestly, the game is, after playing it 2 or 3 sessions, it's not worth ever playing again. It's nowhere near as good as the other Battlefronts, and it's kind of a joke, in my opinion. So I'm glad that I didn't spend double money, you know what I mean, or bought the game and then got another code, because it wasn't worth it.
He could have just fucking traded it in.
So I apologize to those who maybe, wow, I really wanted to play multiplayer with Phil, but he ended up not getting the game on the console that I'm playing it on. Sometimes this is going to happen.
I'm really random in this video. I guess I'm kind of bored with this question. But, okay, he could have bought a copy for PS4, right? Did Star Wars Battlefront on PS4 for fan appreciation? Then said, hey, if you're a $5 patron, you get entered into a giveaway. People do giveaways like that all the time on Twitch. Of course, people will give them shit for doing it, but a lot of other people do it, so fuck it. A lot of other people do giveaways like that. If you give me money, you automatically get in it. Or if you give me money, you can only get in it. He could have easily did that. If you're a $5 patron or a $1 patron or more, if you a patron, period, you get automatically entered into the Star Wars Battlefront giveaway. He could have gave away the game a month later. It still would have been worth about $40, and he would have got new patrons for at least that month just to join the giveaway. People would join his Patreon and spend $1 or spend $5 to be a part of a giveaway. Trust me. People are willing to spend money to be a part of a giveaway. Trust me. So, yeah, he could have did that, but no, DSP is stupid, so he don't think of stuff like that.
When you got direct console competition,
you know what I mean? But I digress.
I might just get a code out of nowhere, and it may be for the console you don't have it on, and that's the version I'm going to play. Now, is it a coincidence that I ended up getting a bunch of these codes for Xbox One, or is it that Microsoft is kind of secretly behind the scenes trying to promote the Xbox One?
Yeah, so that's what I said. That's what I think too.
To YouTubers, I have no clue. I have no direct contact with whatever's going on behind the scenes with Microsoft.
They're trying to promote their shitty little console.
Right? So I have no knowledge of that. It very well could be. I could
they
certainly
shitty little
see some
Street
Microsoft
Fighter-less
console.
console.
We're #2 right now in the console war, and we got to sell more consoles.
Number 2 in the console war. Yeah, some war.
So let's put out these codes so that YouTubers will play our version of the game and people will be convinced to buy it on Xbox One. It could be, but I'm not involved with that. If I knew about that, I certainly would disclose it. But
Bullshit.
I'm not involved with that. You know, I'm happy to be getting free copies of games when I do. I'll tell you this, I didn't get a questionnaire this year. It's early 2016 right now, I didn't get one. So in the next few months, we've got all these games coming out, and I didn't get any questionnaire whatsoever about what games are you playing from Machinima.
Now, I just talked about that earlier in this video. That I feel like Machinima isn't gonna send him free shit because he's re-signed with Machinima now, and just like he just said, I didn't get a questionnaire this month, so that means all of the games that are coming out, even Street Fighter fucking 5, he's not gonna be able to get a free copy of it. All of the games that are coming out within the next 4 or 5 months, he's not eligible to get a free copy because he never signed up for he never got the questionnaire. All right, then.
So chances are I'm probably not getting any promotional copies in the near future.
Machinima I'm not getting any free copies in the near future, and we have a paused SIP attempt. But yeah, I'm probably right. Machinima gave him all of that free shit just to make him want to sign with them more. To make him say, oh man, Machinima gave me all this free shit. I might as well sign with them. And now he's re-signed with Machinima, now he's not going to get anything. Yep. Machinima sucks. Take a sip.
So certainly I apologize to those who may have been planning on playing multiplayer with me in certain games.
That's sad.
It is what it is,
Machinima
especially now when things are financially very tight for me.
For another 2 years.
I can't look the gift horse in the mouth. I have to go with whatever the copy of the game is.
You don't have to. You could just say you don't want it, but whatever.
All right. Next question. This one is from Gunnerman1400, and he says, Phil, in your Until Dawn gameplay, the story had a lot of horror movie-style cliches. Some I found tolerable, while some were annoying, like the jack-in-the-box scares that came up throughout the playthrough. I'm an aspiring filmmaker who wants to learn how to write good stories. Do you think that... Oh my God,
an aspiring filmmaker. I just want to say this. The questions for Ask the King couldn't have been that good, because part 2, he answering questions about horror cliches and WWE divas. What?
Some cliches can work for or against a story. See, here's the thing. He's absolutely right. Until Dawn was a very suspenseful horror-style game. And a lot of it had traditional horror stuff, but there were jump scares in the game that literally had nothing to do with the game. They were just there for the sake of being there to try to give you a jump scare. Now, horror movies do this all the time. They use audio jumps. They use unrelated things that aren't even supposed to be scary. You'll have something, oh my god, I heard something in the kitchen. Someone's very slowly walking into the kitchen, the music's building, right? Walking into what they're going to find is going to be a ghost, it's going to be a monster. Right, and they turn, and it's like your brother doing something stupid, and it's a cheap-ass jump scare just for the sake of having it in there, right? Horror movies do this all the time. And I'd say probably in Until Dawn, there were maybe 4 or 5 of them total. I didn't find it so incredibly excessive that it broke the immersion of the game, and I know why they were there. They were doing it on purpose, because without that, maybe it wouldn't feel as much of a B-movie kind of horror movie as the game was aiming to be. But the thing is, when that's your entirety of your movie, the only thing that you're scaring with is a jump scare, that's when the movie's a piece of shit. And I hate to say it, a lot of modern horror movies do this. There's an element of suspense, but the only thing that ever really scares you in the movie is a crazy-ass jump scare. And that means it's devoid of psychological horror. It's devoid of any kind of an ongoing mystery. It's just jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. And that's lame. That's fucking...
I remember Paranormal Activity. I think it was really Paranormal Activity 2 and 3. Because I watched all 3 of them a lot, the first 3. I think it was Paranormal Activity 2 and 3 that really got me with that bullshit. And I know I'm way off topic here, but that's how bored I am with the question. You would have, like, nothing going on the screen. It would be almost a blank screen. Like, it would be just, one of the cameras in the house aiming at a room with nothing happening in the room. And it's kind of like... I don't really know how I could explain it. It's like they playing off of how the average person would react. You see a room with nothing going on in it, nothing moving, you're going to pay more attention. You're going to look a little harder. So you looking in the screen like you kind of squinting a little bit. You paying extra attention to it. So you like this, you like, wait, am I seeing something moving? No, I don't see anything moving. I don't know what's going on. And then something pop up out the screen out of nowhere jumping at you. And you're like, oh man, it was so fucking scary. But it really wasn't scary. It was just a jump scare. Because the people that directed the movie set the scene up that way to get you to stare at the fucking screen. And some movies do that bullshit a lot. And some horror games do it a lot too. And it's really, 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 really fucking annoying. Just
because there's an audio spike or something on the screen appears out of
nowhere.
It
doesn't even scare me when jump scares like that happen. It just pisses me off.
It should have some kind of a quality to it of a story or psychological terror that hooks you, that gets you going, And I hate...
Like, the best way I could explain it, you know what I mean? The best way I could explain it is if you was playing Where's Waldo. And you squinting at the fucking screen playing Where's Waldo, and then a giant witch with a zombie face pop up on the screen. Of course you're gonna be scared in quotes, but it's a jump scare. It's not a legitimate scare. You're not gonna have nightmares about that witch popping up. You just had a heart rate increase. You got shocked by something. It's not even really being scared. You just got surprised. This is a surprise scare.
To say it,
I hate that
games
shit.
Sometimes adhere to this too, and sometimes they don't. It all depends. Let's face it.
Shitty indie devs always do that.
But also they have psychological horror.
Baby mode as jump
scares.
scares.
Had some of the best psychological horror there ever was, but there was also jump scares. There's ways to do it so that it's well balanced. I don't think that just because a horror movie or a game has jump scares that it's bad, especially if it's done in good taste and not overdone. Everything in moderation, right? That's the thing. And if you go too much into it, then you overblow it, and then it kind of gets like, oh man, now this is lame because this is what they're going for rather than actually something original or different. Okay. Next question is from Jamal.
Good question.
He says, Phil, I've been having troubles recently saving my money. Seems like every time that I get a paycheck,
did he say Jamal?
I always end up spending it.
The fuck is this question?
Really mostly on stuff I don't even need. I
gotta listen to this again. Is this Jamal?
Especially if it's done in
That's
gotta
be a black dude.
Overdone. Everything
I've never
seen
a white
right?
kid
That's
named Jamal.
If you go too much into it, then you overblow it, and then it kind of gets like, oh man, now this is lame because this is what they're going for rather than actually something original or different. Okay. Next question is from Jamar, and he says, Phil,
it's gotta be a black dude.
I've been having troubles recently saving my money. Seems like every time that I get a paycheck and then I cash it,
Wait, the question is, well, what it says in the description, tips on how to save money instead of blowing it. Really, nigga? Darkside Phil, the man that was in debt before YouTube, got out of debt through YouTube, and then went back in debt when he moved across the country. He's going to tell us how to save money. Yes. 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 I'm adding that as a bait question.
End up spending it.
Thanks, Jamal.
It's really mostly on stuff I don't even need. I wanted to know if you've ever had gone through a habit of spending money like that.
No shit, he has.
What tips would you give to someone
who
wants
his
to do a better job of
videos?
saving money?
He spent like $60 on pizza.
Well, that's from Jamar.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm a human, and I've had times in my life when I would save up money and I would blow it on stuff. Now,
I had times like that in my life, too.
The thing is, when I was much younger, like when I was a teenager, I never had a lot of money, and what I would do is I would take my money and save it for 6 months at a pop in my bank account, and then I would go to like a tournament or go on a trip that would be for Street Fighter. And my parents hated that. My parents said, why don't you save your money for something worthwhile?
His parents was being
why don't
negative
you save it
assholes.
for something nice? Instead, you're just going to play Street Fighter all the time. And in a lot of ways, I can agree with what they were saying, but a lot of ways at the time, I disagreed. Because the thing is, yeah, here I am, it's 2016. Does it matter, really, that I blew my money when I was a teenager playing competitive Street Fighter? Did I get anywhere with it?
It don't
Yes
matter.
And no. I got notoriety from it.
It don't matter because he got
did
himself
it make
out of
or
that
break my life?
situation.
No.
But he put himself back into the
Certainly in
same
this modern era,
situation
I'm
when
not
he
a
moved
competitive
across the
Street
country
Fighter player.
to the
So
house
did
he
it go
lives in
anywhere?
now.
Ultimately, not really. But I got to
Hey,
travel.
Griffith.
I got to see places all around the country that I wouldn't have seen if I
God
hadn't
damn
been
it.
traveling like that. I got to meet people of all
I'm gonna
different
get your ass
cultures,
next time.
races, ethnicities, different levels of life that all were into Street Fighter. And really, it was a culturally diverse thing that I feel that if I hadn't done it, then maybe I would have been a less diverse person. I would have been a lot less open-minded.
But you're not open-minded.
Really, like, I think that it actually did open my eyes to a lot of things those years when I was traveling and playing Street Fighter a lot.
Okay.
So, for me, that was my early days. Now, later on, after that, I started blowing money on stuff. And for me, though, here's the thing. It wasn't that it was cash I had. This was the era when these credit card companies would send credit cards to everyone. And as long as you had a fucking credit score, it didn't matter if you had no credit history. You would get credit cards out the ass.
Yep.
So as soon as I went to college, I started getting credit card applications in the mail, and I ended up getting credit cards and racking up these credit cards. I was buying stupid shit. Like I had an Alienware fucking laptop that I never actively used for anything useful. It was a toy and a waste of time, and honestly, it was false advertising. It was not... did not live anywhere near up to what they had promised that the laptop was going to be, which very much pissed me the fuck off. And then later on, I ended up moving out of my parents' house and moving into an apartment, which I shared with 2 other roommates. And halfway through living there, I lost my job, and now I was fucked. And I had no way to pay all these credit card bills. I ended up selling all the shit that I had bought just to make ends meet and try to have money to buy food every day and to pay off my credit card bills. So life was not a very good thing because I was not financially responsible, okay? The best recommendation I could give you, and it might not be the easiest, is to open a savings account. Because when you have a savings account, you can't just spend the money. In order to spend money in a savings account, you have to transfer it to, say, a checking account. Okay?
No, that's not good advice.
Account, make it difficult. Create hurdles so that's not easy to get at the money, and then you won't easily spend it. The more readily available the money is, like a credit card, you're going to rack it up.
I'm sorry, but if you have money and you put your money in a savings account and you make it hard to spend your own money, that's not going to help. The best advice I could give for something like this is to be a fucking grown up. And of course that sounds like horrible advice, but it's better I think telling somebody to be a fucking grown up and to not waste your own money knowing you're going to hurt yourself for wasting it. I think that's better advice than to say put it in a savings account and make it hard to spend your own money. That's silly. You might like get locked up or some shit, or like go to the hospital. And I got to get the money out of my bank account. Oh wait, I got to put it from the savings to the bank account and then get it. I don't know. It's a weird thing to give advice on, to be honest. It really is.
Credit cards. It's good to have one for an emergency. It's certainly not good to have 25 of them just because you qualify.
The credit card thing is good advice, though.
You know what I mean?
It's
tough. Because once you start becoming an adult and you get all this freedom you never had, I said this before in my videos. When you're a kid, You have all this free time and nothing to do with it because you don't have money, you don't have transportation, right? You have nothing that you can do. Then you're an adult, you have the money, you have the transportation, but you don't have the free time. You don't have the time anymore because you're busy with work, you're busy with all this stuff that takes up all your time, and you have the means to do stuff, but now you don't have the freedom to do it because your time's all taken up by so much shit. So, the best advice I could say, try to set up stuff that is going to be put into place to prevent you from easily spending the money. If it's a savings account or whatever, that's the route you have to go, because ultimately the easier it is to swipe that credit card or to blow that money, you're going to do it unless you have some kind of a roadblock. And then, of course, as you get older, you'll get more responsible. When you realize, oh, shit, yeah, now I'm in dire straits because of all the money that I spent or the stuff that I racked up. That's the thing. I remember when I was a teenager and I was going on all these Street Fighter trips, it didn't matter that I blew all my money. I didn't have anything else to spend it on. You know, my parents were always like, save your money. I was like, for fucking what? I'm not going to buy a house. I'm 17 years old. I was that way too when I was 18. What am I saving my fucking money for? You know what I mean? I was getting a bunch of money. So at that point in my life, it didn't really matter if I spent my money or not. Of course, now, holy shit, if only I had that money. So, hindsight's 50-50, right?
Take a sip. I did sign a sip, too. Ooh, fancy sip.
Hindsight's 20/20. I always get that saying wrong.
Hindsight's 50-50.
All right, anyway, next question. This one is from RU4Cookie. And they asked the following. Hey, Phil, I have some questions regarding fighting games after your videos for Street Fighter V. I've tried several fighting games before, like BlazBlue. I don't know if it's BlazBlue or BlazBlue, by the way. I have no idea. Guilty Gear, Persona 4 Arena, Tekken, and Soul Calibur.
He played anime fighters and in Soul Calibur.
Fundamentals, so I've been looking forward to Street
Of course
Fighter
you didn't learn fucking fundamentals.
Gameplay mechanics without too many gimmicks. However, I do not have a local fighting game community, so all of my gameplay will have to be online. I saw that you had a lot of trouble with trying to have proper matches over the internet, and my question is, would you still recommend this game to someone who is new to fighting games and can only play online? If not, what other games could I try? I will say this, I'm going to be perfectly fair.
Either that or Street Fighter 3, Third Strike Online.
When it comes to Street Fighter 5, all right? I played in the betas. These were supposed to be tests of the online matchmaking, connectivity, multiplayer, and I don't feel that anything that I did in Street Fighter V should be held as an example of what the final game will be. All right? I just want to make that abundantly clear. It's not fair when you play in a beta and say, oh, that's the final product, because it's not. The chances are, when this game comes out in mid-February, it could be perfect. You could play online, and the matches are great, and you don't have to sit there
Street Fighter V online, perfect.
And it's just as good and quick matchmaking as it was in Street Fighter 4, okay? That being said, don't go into it with insane expectations that it's going to work perfectly either, because I think that's what happens. Is people play these betas, oh, give them the benefit of the doubt, that's just the beta. Then the final game comes out and it doesn't work very well, and you're like, well, maybe I should have known better, you know?
Yeah.
Ultimately, I don't know what to expect
annoy me
when
people do the,
I don't know how
it's a beta excuse.
Going to be.
Because
I'm
the beta
honestly
is still
kind of in the same boat as
giving you
because I don't have a local
impression of what the final product is going to be. If the beta is shit, the final product is going to probably be at least garbage.
I met a group of fighting game
Sorry for talking over DSP
locally
right
come
now.
over to each other's houses and play these games. I don't have that anymore. And even like I said, in Seattle is, you know, still a downtown urban Seattle is a drive away from me. So it's not like I could easily every day drive in there and see, oh, there's tournaments going on or whatever. No. So for me, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. If the online multiplayer of Street Fighter V sucks shit, it's going to be very hard for me to learn the game. When it comes to fundamentals, there's tons of people now who do tutorials on just the fundamentals, the bread and butter, which are the starter combos that you can determine.
I hate bread and butter combos.
Depend on in these games. And all I can say is you could practice them in arcade mode, you could practice them in training mode, and try to at least get the timing down, the basics of the game, and try to understand the basics of the game. But you're right. Ultimately, you're never going to learn how a game is meant to be played on a competitive level until you play it competitively. So if the multiplayer of Street Fighter V sucks, the game sucks. It's that simple. And in my opinion, that's one of the major things that brought down Mortal Kombat 10. The game was great. There was tons of content for it, tons of modes, but the online multiplayer wasn't very good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mortal Kombat 10 is there right now. I think fucking KI is more alive than MKX.
For this new multiplayer that apparently is way better.
And they redoing the online. No, it's too late. Just like you said, it's too late.
Mortal Kombat 10 now, even though they're trying to resell it now.
That game fucking dead.
Oh, Mortal Kombat 10 now with the Season 2 DLC characters too. Buy the game now. No one's going to fucking buy it. People who want it already have it.
Yep.
But I digress.
And if you don't have it, you buying Street Fighter 5.
You know, that this game works. Now, you're saying, what are some games that you could play that maybe you could try for fundamentals? I mean, it's tough because
Street Fighter
games have
3.
different fundamentals. Like Street Fighter has different fundamentals from Tekken, has different fundamentals from another fighting game franchise.
I think
Yes, there may be some
Tekken
things
and
to cross
BlazBlue
over,
is.
but
I
they have
think okay. I got to
variation.
pause for this. I think Tekken and anime fighters, because he said like BlazBlue, Persona 4 Arena. It's the same fucking game. It's just different characters. BlazBlue is mad similar to Persona 4 Arena. The same fucking people made it, but Arc System Works, I believe. I think Arc System Works made all of them. But if you want to learn fundamentals in a fighting game, you can't play Tekken and BlazBlue. I think you have to play Street Fighter to learn true fundamentals of a fighting game. And of course, I know somebody's going to disagree with this, but when I say fundamentals, I mean like straight up spacing between you and the opponent and when to do this and when to do that and what situation and all of that shit. I don't mean when to do a super or when to do an ultra and when to do a combo breaker and all of that bullshit. I mean like straight up fighting game fundamentals, the shit that take a long time to learn and something that you can learn and use across any fighting game. But I could ramble about that.
You know, it
So
was
I'm
easy.
done.
In the 1990s, it was easy because you had Street Fighter, you had Mortal Kombat, and you had maybe one or two other series that were popular at the time. And even though there was Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter Alpha, they all kind of had the same common game mechanics. Today, it's not the case. Now these games have totally different game mechanics and stuff. You know, Tekken has the pop-up juggle mechanic that Street Fighter doesn't have, and you know, these other games like BlazBlue and Guilty Gear have these other mechanics where they have reversal blow-through moves and these advanced aerial juggles. It's all different. So I couldn't tell you, oh, this is the one game you should play to learn fighting games, because games have really diversified and grown apart from each other over the years. I would say this: don't freak out about Street Fighter V. Let's give it a fair shot. Let's wait. Let's give it a fair shot when it releases in a couple weeks. Let's see what happens, and we'll go from there. All right. This question is from Justan, and Justan asks, hey Phil, I hope that you're doing well. I've been a big fan of WWE for a long time. After AJ Lee quit the WWE, she made a comment saying that the divas are underpaid for the work that they do compared to their male counterparts, and they should deserve more recantation for their craft. Vince McMahon...
I'm sorry, I'm skipping this one. It's been like 2 years since I watched wrestling. And based on this comment, he said Tamina was good in the ring. Tamina is fucking garbage. Tamina injured herself the last time I was watching wrestling. Tamina injured herself because she was so fucking bad at doing a splash from the top rope. So, yeah, I really don't care. Like, even if he didn't say Tamina was good, I really don't care about a wrestling-related question. I haven't watched wrestling in like 2 years. You know, I listened to DSP talk about the Royal Rumble, and I was surprised by almost everything he said because it seemed so out of left field, and it seemed like the WWE is really grasping at straws. But when you go years without watching WWE, or not, I would say wrestling in general, but it's really just WWE. When you go years without watching WWE, or even years without listening to what's going on in the WWE, and then you go back and listen to it, everything seems kind of stupid. So, yeah, I'm going to skip that one. Sorry.
Next question is from
limitations on Patron's Choice playthroughs. This is a
Christian Osborne,
bait question.
1996, and Christian asks the following. Hey, Phil, I saw that you've done Patron's Choice, You've done Patron's Choice playthroughs that you upload online, such as your recent platforming marathons like Conker's Bad Fur Day and Crash Bandicoot, etc. And that's a good idea that you do those because you normally wouldn't play those games. Do you think that patrons could vote for fighting games and PlayStation 2 emulation as well? The bottom line is, when I do a Patron's Choice playthrough, it could be any game.
That's a lie. It can't be any game. Because a long time ago when he talked about it, and I think even recently when he talks about the Patron's Choice bullshit, he said it can't be a game that's hard for him to play, which is why it's never been a game that he can emulate. It's always been a game that he can buy a physical copy of and play it on a PS3 or a PS4. It's always been a game that he can download on Steam and play on PC. It's never been, emulate the fucking PS2 version of Capcom versus SNK2 and play that online against randoms. No, he full of shit. It can't be any game.
I don't care what kind of game it is. It could be a role-playing game. It could be open world creation game like Minecraft. It could be an action style game. It could be a game I've already played before, such as Fallout New Vegas, which won a Patron's Choice.
I muted myself by accident. That's not any game, DSP. The person was talking about emulation on PS2, for instance. Any game does not mean that in that situation. They mean any game as in any console, any genre. But let's hear what he said. I'm interested in this one.
It could be a game I've never played before. It could be a fighter. It could be anything. I'm totally open to listening. And in fact, this is a good time to bring it up. On my Patreon right now for the month of January, you
Patreon
now have
plug.
3 days left.
3 days
pledge
left
to my Patreon, and if you pledge
Jesus
$5
Christ,
or
3
more,
days.
and we
Shit.
hit the funding goal for this
mean the
month,
Rockathon is on the
close to,
oh
so
God.
we may do, the Patron's Choice
The
playthrough
Rockathon is on the
returns, which means
31st.
you're going to be able
Jesus
to nominate
fucking
and
Christ.
vote on any kind of game for me to play, starting in the month of probably around mid-March. It looks like the second half of March is actually pretty slow, so that's probably when I would start that Patron's Choice playthrough, all right? And I leave it completely open. I'm not going to say, oh, I can't do it. The only games that I'll say this, the only games that I would 100% be against is a game that's not easily readily available to play. So if you're, I want you to play Battle Arena Toshinden, the PlayStation 1 version, which isn't available digitally to play on PlayStation.
Are you fucking serious? The dude just asked about emulating games. And you said, I could play any game, whether it's, and then you mentioned a bunch of fucking genres, when it was obvious the person was talking about emulating the game and not a game you can get on PSN, not a game you can get on Steam, and not a game you can get a physical copy of and play on a PS4, a PS3, 360, or an Xbox One. And then you give him the runaround answer, and you immediately follow up and say, well, if it's a game I have to emulate, I can't play it. Your computer is good enough to emulate a fucking PS1 game. Your computer is good enough to emulate probably Wii games. He got a Wiimote. His computer is good enough to emulate that. But he's too stupid to figure it out. So recommend games that I can only play if I get it straight from Steam, if I get it on the PS2 and play it on the PS3, if I can get it on PSN, if I can insert the physical disc in the 360, the Xbox One, or the PS4. If I can't do any of that, I can't play it. But pledge today. Give me $5 today.
Say PlayStation 3 off the marketplace. Well, that's tough. I don't have a method right now to capture the classic consoles without, like, say, emulation and stuff like that. So
emulation not hard, dude. People with garbage laptops can emulate PS1 games and stream it.
If it's a game that's outside
and do it at full screen, like true 720p.
Yeah, then I would say it would be tough, and that wouldn't be a viable Patron's Choice playthrough. But hey, if someone right now, if the patron said, wow, we really want to see Phil go in depth with, I don't know, Street Fighter 2, a version that's available, or Street Fighter Alpha Series, if there was a digital version available to play.
A version that's available. A version that's available. A version that's available.
And I could play with my joystick that way. And I could, you want to see coverage of the characters? I could do basics of each character. I could do arcade mode run.
People won't vote for that. People won't spend money to see that.
I could do it, but the patrons would have to ask for it. And ultimately, it seems to me that patrons seem to have things in mind. For example, a bunch of people have been saying, play the Mafia games, because Mafia 3 is coming out. Will he be playing one of the original Mafias anytime?
I talked about this already before, but with this Mafia shit, I really hope that people don't pay him to play the Mafia games, because you know what's going to happen? Remember with Just Cause? Somebody sent him a free copy of Just Cause 2. He played Just Cause 2, didn't finish it, got to Just Cause 3, and didn't finish Just Cause 3 because it was too similar to Just Cause 2, even though he never played Just Cause 2 until somebody sent him a free copy of Just Cause 2. So if he gets a copy of Mafia, he's going to play Mafia, not finish it, then play Mafia 3, and then it's like a 50-50 chance he's going to play Mafia 3 and say, oh, it's too similar to Mafia, the game I already played. I don't want to finish this. It's fucking boring. And then everybody lose. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
A ton of people ask, oh, Darkest Dungeon. I guess this was a game that was like, you had early access to it and now it finally released for PC. And people are like, is Phil going to play Darkest Dungeon?
What?
It's not on my radar, but if people ask for me to do it,
people better not pay him to play Darkest Dungeon.
So,
that game not even socially relevant anymore.
Phil, $5
not
pledge.
really. It's really not.
3 days or so. by the end of January 2016, if we hit the
It
goal,
was the flavor of the month a long time ago.
February and vote in March, and I'll
And
start
I'm gonna have somebody comment saying, Darkest Dungeon is a fucking great game. Fuck you. You fucking asshole. You don't know anything about it. I've only watched playthroughs of Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon was the flavor of the month a long time ago. That game is not socially relevant anymore. And yeah, that's all I got to say about it. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying it's not relevant anymore. It's really not. Like even Undertale is still kind of relevant. Darkest Dungeon ain't relevant no more. It's not. Just deal with it.
Okay.
I might fucking play it soon, but I'm not saying this. I'm not gonna lie and say it's relevant.
Answer 1 to 2 more. Let's see how long this takes. This question.
Let's see how long this takes.
And Drazen asked the following. Phil, my question for you is regarding the game of 2015 with the best graphics, but also regarding video game graphics in general. I recall you saying in your Hateful Truth review of The Order 1886 that you felt the game had the best graphics you'd ever seen.
I already called bullshit. I called the bullshit when he said the Order had the best graphics, because the Order does not have the best graphics. The Order has the best graphics, in quote, but the Order also has fucking cinematic borders on the top and the bottom of the screen, and the Order also runs at 30 fucking frames per second. In video game land, a game cannot have the best graphics and be running at 30 frames and have borders on the top and the bottom of the screen. You know why the game had borders on the top and the bottom of the screen? To make the graphics look better. Because they had to take something away to make the game look so good. You know why the game ran at 30 frames per second? Because they wanted the game to look good. So they had to make the game run at 30 frames. If the game ran at 60 and would have been actual full screen instead of some cinematic wannabe bullshit, then the game wouldn't have looked as good. So to say the Order 1886 had the best graphics of last year is complete bullshit. Because the game wasn't even full screen and the game didn't even run at 60 frames. So, yep.
On a console.
This whole question is fucking shit.
That the Order 1886
and that's my opinion.
And its developers sacrificed many elements of the game, making it extremely linear, full of quick...
They sacrificed many elements of the game. You're right. The game was linear. So that's another point. The game was linear. The game had black borders on the top and the bottom of the screen. And the game ran at 30 frames. Does it really matter how good the game looked if they got rid of so much shit to make it look good? No.
Time events, cutscenes that had entire chapters of the game where it was just gameplay taking a
best graphics of the year. 30 frames, fucking cinematic borders on the top and bottom.
Assets could actually load around them. I want to know if your opinion of the Order 1886
Give me a break
stands.
like a
In other
fucking
words,
Kit Kat ball.
do you feel that amazing graphics should be appreciated as they are, regardless of how much the developers cheated in order to achieve them? Or do you think that they should be admired much more if they were spread widely over open worlds with fully fleshed out gameplay? Either way, I'd like to know which console game of 2015 you feel has the best graphics.
The best graphics. Take a sip. You got to take another Dasani sip for this.
That's a pretty valid question. 2015 had some games that really were bait and switch. The Order was one of them. But I will stand by this. I will say that The Order, The Witcher 3, and probably I'd say Metal Gear Solid 5 were the 3 games in my mind that are really standing out. To some extent, Batman Arkham Knight, but probably just a little bit under those 3. Amazing graphics. I would say playing The Order 1886, I felt like I was in an interactive movie. I did. I felt like this was a computer.
Which one? I gotta re-say it. I don't know which one did which. I know for a fact the Order didn't run at 60. And of course you're gonna have people say, oh, the frame rate, it should. No, the frame rate does matter, because you can make a game look amazing and it can run at 4 fucking frames. And then you can make a game look amazing and it can run at 60 frames. The game that looks amazing and runs at 60 frames means that people put more effort into making the game look amazing and running at 60 frames, especially on console. I don't know if MGS5 ran at 60. I think it did. What else did he mention? He said the Order. That's already out. The Order had black borders on the top and the bottom, and the Order ran at 30 frames. So fuck that game as being the best graphics of the year, because the game nerfed itself to give itself good graphics. So fuck that. But I don't know. Maybe Metal Gear Solid 5? Maybe Witcher 3? The Witcher 3 didn't run at 60 on console either, so that's out of it. So I think Metal Gear Solid 5. I don't think Metal Gear Solid 5 ran at 30. I think that ran at 60 on console. I might be wrong. I never played it on console, so I don't know. And I never cared to look up information about the console version, so I don't know. But if Metal Gear Solid 5 ran, well, not Metal Gear Solid 5, Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, if that ran at 60 on console, then that's the best looking game of the year because it was open world, it was on console, it was at 60 frames, and it looked fucking amazing. But The Witcher, no. The Order, no. Maybe The Witcher on PC, but on console, no.
Computer-generated movie, and the whole game was CGI, and I was actually controlling a movie. That's what it feels like when you play the game. But when you have a game that's like 7 hours long, out of that 3 hours of cutscenes, the gameplay is generic third-person cover-based shooter gameplay, and the few times that monsters are on the screen, they're extremely underwhelming because the gameplay's so limited. Was it worth it? Was it really worth it to take this game that had massive potential to be a great game and basically make it a tech demo? Because ultimately, that's what the Order 1886 is. It's a tech demo for the PlayStation 4. It looks gorgeous, but if that's not what you're looking for, you're going to be pissed off that you spent full price for a game
DSP with
that doesn't give you a full gameplay
it's
experience.
A tech demo.
The bottom line is that's why
the game
after
looked
a
good.
month or two, the game did not sell well at all. The price plummeted. You could buy the game for like $20 at the store after like 2 months. It was preposterous how bad the game did and how they had to cut the prices to get anyone to even buy the game, and it ended up being a fucking flop.
Was it really a flop, DSP?
Compare that to a game like Metal Gear Solid 5. Was the game, did it have the insane detail and graphic level of the Order 1886? No. But it ran at 60 frames per second.
Okay, so MGS5 was 60 on console. I'm sorry,
amazing.
But if a game runs at 60 on console and another game runs at 30, the game that ran at 60 automatically beats the game that ran at 30. I'm sorry. But you can't... Because with the logic of saying, oh, the game ran at 30 and looked better than the game that ran at 60. With that logic, I should be able to make a game with 480p resolution, run at 20 frames, but look fucking amazing, look like fucking real life. And I should be getting best graphics of the year for award shows with that logic. And somebody that have to go through that much bullshit to nerf their game just to make it look good, they don't deserve to win anything.
Right? What about The Witcher 3? Yeah, now that ran at 30 frames per second, but look at the amount of detail to the stuff that was in The Witcher 3.
It ran at 30 frames. Fuck it, it doesn't win.
Stunning. So you can take amazing graphics
on PC maybe.
And if you sacrifice a little bit,
it could beat Metal Gear Solid,
but
on console,
awesome
no.
Gameplay, full game. I don't understand what the game developers were thinking with the Order 1886. Is there such a huge demand at this point now for groundbreaking graphics? Like in the 90s? Yeah, in the 90s when technology was advancing so quickly, when people...
Yet again, DSP is full of shit. It's always a demand for groundbreaking graphics when a new console come out. When the GameCube came out, when the PS2 came out, when the OG Xbox came out, when the 360 came out, when the PS2 came out, when the PS3 came out, when the Wii came out, when the Wii U came out, when the Xbox One came out, when the PS4 came out, it's always going to be that one game, at least one game, that has good graphics as being the gimmick of the game. Because people say to themselves, damn, I spent, yeah, y'all need some water. I'm going to get y'all some water after this. People say to themselves, damn, I spent $400 on this console. I spent $60 on this game. This game better look good. And the thing is, of course, you can say graphics don't matter, but graphics is the thing you can notice the easiest. Gameplay takes hours to know it. Hours to notice. You have to play a game for hours to say, oh, well, the gameplay of this game is fundamentally better than a game a 360 could give me or a game a PS2 could give me. But graphics, you see it instantly. It's instant gratification. You immediately turn on a PS3 game and say, damn, this game looks really fucking good. Then you turn on a PS3 game and you got to play it for 12 hours and you say, yeah, the gameplay is really good compared to a PS2 game of the same caliber. But you turn on a PS3, as soon as the cutscenes start, you're like, yeah, this shit looks really fucking good. That's why every time a new console come out, you always have those games that try to make the console, it try to make the graphics look good. Even with the Wii, you had Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. Those games looked fucking amazing. I don't know about the Wii U, but I didn't pay much attention to the Wii U. And the PS3, the PS4 had its games that did that. The 360 had a lot of them when it first came out. And the Xbox One, of course, had a couple. As a matter of fact, the main one with the Xbox One was QuickTime event, Roman dudes. I can't think of the name, but yeah, Xbox One definitely had its. The graphics look really fucking good. Oh my god, it had that game.
Wow,
but
look
yeah.
at this groundbreaking jump. Look at this groundbreaking jump. Just look from the NES and the Sega Master System to the Super NES and Sega Genesis to the PlayStation and Nintendo 64 to the Dreamcast, right? And then to the next generation PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360.
Now, it's unfair. And then yet again, this is DSP being wrong. He didn't even mention the Sega Saturn. So yeah, full-time, long, lifetime gamer doesn't mention the Sega Saturn. He go from Sega Genesis to fucking Dreamcast. The Dreamcast has better graphics than the PS2. The Dreamcast has less games than the PS2. But if you play a game like Resident Evil Code Veronica X on the Dreamcast and play it on the PS2, the Dreamcast version looks better than the PS2. Not emulated maybe, but the actual console version looks better than the PS2. Sonic Adventure looks fucking insane on the Dreamcast. And it probably fucking run at 60 frames. But this motherfucker didn't even mention the Sega Saturn. And the Sega Saturn had better graphics than anything else. The Sega Saturn had better graphics than the PS1. The Nintendo 64 had better graphics than both, but the Nintendo 64 had a worse frame rate. And the Dreamcast had better graphics than the PS2, but I don't know about the frame rates. And the Xbox One had better graphics than the PS2, but yet again, I don't know about the frame rates. And then you go farther than that, it's just Reddit arguments. But I'm sure people are going to be really salty about the stuff I say right here, and a bunch of people go disagree, and people are going to be really fucking pissy about it, but I really don't care. I'm saying stuff based on what I saw when these consoles were new in real life, not stuff I looked at years later on emulators and stuff I looked at years later on websites that had fucking graphs and comparison pictures and all of that shit. When I was growing up, we didn't have fucking comparison pictures. We had to fucking buy the games and we could look at it ourselves. But let's get this over with so I can go to part 3.
Not really.
Because I got to give these guinea pigs some water anyway.
There, but is it like, oh my god? No, not really anymore. Do we really need to make a game? Boy, this cop is apparently driving by my neighborhood here, not going away. It's really annoying. Do we have a massive demand?
No, we don't have water right there right now.
To have a game that's just about the visuals solely? No, I don't think so. I don't think we have demand for amazing, groundbreaking visuals anymore. I think we've reached kind of almost a plateau where, okay, everything looks great. Now let's focus on better games. Games that are delivering. Games that when you buy them...
It's funny. Wow, I clicked another video by accident. I really fucked up. Let's see if we can
focus on better games.
Fix this. Okay. We actually at the same part. It's funny because when the 360 and when the PS3 was new, people said this same thing. People said, let's focus on the game. The graphics are good no matter what. Let's focus on the game. And that didn't happen. And then when the Xbox One came out, people said, let's make the graphics look good. And we got, damn, I really want to know the name of this game. Xbox One launch games. It's 10:23 my time. So I might be able to finish this soon. Xbox One launch games, Battlefield 4, Fighter. Wow, remember Fighter Within? Crimson Dragon, Rise, Son of Rome. Yes, baby Jesus, Rise, Son of Rome. Yep, but people don't just care about graphics. The whole fucking gimmick of that game was how good it looked. Bunch of fucking assholes.
Delivering games that when you buy them, you feel like you're getting a $60 gameplay experience, not a...
What is a $60 gameplay experience?
You know, $20 gameplay experience shoved into a $60 envelope
so
because it's, it looks like a CGI movie. I don't think the graphics are that big of a deal anymore. I don't. I really don't.
And he giving us bullshit because he don't think that graphics are a big deal. But when he played Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, almost half of his complaints was about the frame rate. And frame rate does involve graphics. But if I was to ask DSP, he would say, oh no, the frame rate is not the graphics, it's a different thing. No, the frame rate involves graphics too. Because the game can look amazing and run at a shit frame rate. And the game can look like shit and run at an amazing frame rate. which is why the order 1886 had black borders on the top and the bottom, and it ran at 30 frames, because those fucking assholes couldn't make a game look good and run at 60 and not have black borders, at least not on the PS4.
I think that it needs to change, quite
But
honestly, in the future. All right. All right, so I only have, let me see, 1, 2,
I'm gonna give them a few
3,
for the all rights.
4, 5, 6, I got about 9 questions left. So we'll end the video here, okay? I'll take a quick break. I'll return with the final third and final part of Ask the King for January 2016. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I'll be back shortly. See you then.
If I don't do this next month, do not be mad at me, because this is, good God.
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
All right, we got part 3 next, and it's 36 minutes long. What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna go over the title when I start the next video. When I start the next part, but it's go all be one video, so it's irrelevant. But I'll be back, maybe. All right, this is 36 minutes long. We might be able to get through this and I'll actually be done. And I could just edit all of these together and render it, and we'll be good. But this title the title made me laugh before I started. It's such a weird title, like success. That's obviously a big question. Final Fantasy V, surgery, joining the military. What the fuck? And somebody said, great response to the military question. Hey Jamal, DSP.text call you a dumbass on Twitter. Okay. If you have everything you ever wanted, but no one around you to enjoy with, in my eyes, that's not success in life. I agree. I completely agree. I'd rather have a lot of people around me that I like and be okay in life than to have everything I want and have nobody around. Maybe that's why DSP would rather live on the West Coast with his beautiful girlfriend. What is success? My thoughts on the American institution of financial success and what success really means. Holy shit, it's a 10-minute question. Oh God. This is gonna be a true trip to the dark side.
All right, everyone, welcome to the third and final part of Ask the King for January 2016. I just want to remind everyone, if you want to post up a question for next month's episode,
pay $20.
Do so on the kingofhate.com forums. There's already a spot there for next month's episode, and if I remember correctly, it's tentatively set for March 3rd, so a little over a month after today, okay? All right, let's finish up everyone's questions. So the first question in this part, this is a good one. So, hey Phil, I have a rather personal question for you. My entire life I've been striving to achieve professional and personal success. From an infant age all the way through college, my parents and society have instilled in me that I must be successful. But now, fast forward to the age of 28. I'm working in Manhattan, I have the job of my dreams, and fortunate enough to be making a great salary. Oddly enough, I feel more lost than ever. Your entire life, you have this goal for striving for success. But I feel let down because once you reach it, there's not much left to go on from here. I know it's the ultimate first world problem, but I still feel so lost. What do you think I should focus on my life, What do you think I should focus my life on professionally? I feel more and more complacent every single day that goes by. In short, I feel that life is training you to get success, but doesn't teach you on what to do actually do when you have it. All right, that question is from Zyphos. Wow.
What a weird question this is. Now, before he said what he should do professionally, the first thing I would have said was to get a hobby. Like, it could even be a hobby that requires money or like some kind of financial input, like working out, or I don't know, fucking streaming on Twitch or some shit and like doing that at a high level. But professionally, I don't know. I could not come up with an answer. If you doing everything, like if you already got a job, you doing everything you want to do as far as a job is concerned, what else can you do professionally? What a weird question to ask Dark Side Phil.
I'm gonna be honest, that's one of the most insightful questions I think I've ever received on Ask the King. So
It
thank
really
you for
is.
that. It actually made me
If
think
this is a real person, thank you for sending him this question.
because it's absolutely true.
And it took him 10 minutes
especially
to
if you live
answer.
in the United States. I don't know how it is in other countries, so obviously I got to give
This
you
is
my
going to be
personal
something. This is
perspective.
going to be
When
interesting.
you live in the United States and you're coming up and you're growing up, first thing your parents want you to have some kind of a job in mind when you're a little kid, which is ridiculous, right? Then when you're in high school, it's all about you got to study, you got to make the grades so you can get into a good college. When you're in a good college, you got to study, you got to make the grade, you got to make those social connections when you're in college so that you can get into an internship or you can get into a decent job out of college. Once you're out of college, now you got to strive, you got to break your back, you got to do real well wherever you're working and just grin and bear it and tough your way through it, work the long hours, kill yourself basically so you can get to that upper level where finally when you're hitting maybe around your late 20s, early 30s, you're in a career job where you're making good money, where you've got a career path ahead of you, where you feel like you're going to be successful and stable in your job for the rest of your life. Yeah, but what about everything else? And the bottom line is that, money and financial security and success ain't everything. You know what I mean? There's other things to life. Friendship, right? Hobbies, romance, relationships with people of either the opposite or same sex, depending on what your personal...
I had myself muted earlier by accident, but relationships either with people of the opposite sex or the same sex, I don't know.
Configuration is, and by the way, I do believe that is a personal configuration, not necessarily a preference.
Personal
And a lot of people are going to say, "Oh,
configuration.
Phil, fuck you." I don't care, whatever. My fucking belief system, not yours.
I feel the same way, Dark Side Phil, but that is an amazing way to word it. Personal configuration. It's like we set up like emulators. Configuration.
But yeah, there's more to life. Ugh, hair in my mouth. There's more to life than just financial success. Honestly, although it's funny because when you're a kid, that seems to be all that's instilled in you from your parents and your schools and everything around you is that, right? And my honest belief is this. It really is because it's a system that wants you to get into the system to let the system continue to work. So when you're in high school, well, I mean, you got to go to the best schools, right? You got to pay money to go to a private school or a better school so that the school makes tons of money, but so you could go to the better college. So then you're paying tons of money to go to this college so that you could get your college degree so that then you can finally get to that corporation where you bust your ass and you're not getting paid as much as you're worth so that finally you could get to that upper echelon tier. And you see what I mean? The whole system ingrains in you from your childhood that you need to be successful, but doesn't explain why, doesn't really explain anything about anything else in life, just says you need to be successful. But what did you do? You paid tons of money to private schools, you busted your ass and earned tons of money for a corporation, and now here you are, 28 years old, you're successful in New York, you're like, but what do I really have, right? It's kind of funny.
It's not.
Because Notch, the maker of
Minecraft. Yes.
When he sold
You're
Minecraft for
fucking
the
billionaire, not even
$1
happy
or whatever
with
to
it.
Microsoft, all of a sudden he started tweeting on social media really almost depressing messages like, man, life is so different now. I'm filthy rich, but now it's hard for me to even tell if anyone who's my friend is my friend, and no one really prepares you for this kind of success in life when you reach this upper echelon of existence.
And it's funny because you hear struggle rappers talk about this all the time, talking about how they got money now and everybody around them fake and all of this bullshit. And you think it's just lyrics, but it really is the truth. You get a little tiny bit, like a fucking millimeter of fame, and everybody around you is automatically questioned because you don't know why they're around you anymore. You don't know if they're around you just because they think you are some kind of popular, cool person, or you don't know if they're around you because they actually legitimately fuck with you or not. And that's why, that's why I say, I'm going off topic here, but that's why I say on Twitch, the people that watch my streams on now, I appreciate it because I feel like those people legitimately fuck with me. They just not random fucking people. Or people that say, oh, you make videos about DSP and I like those videos, so I'm going to watch your streams. No. I'm sure some people that do that, but eventually they won't come to a stream.
What am I supposed to do with my time and my money? Because I have all this and I don't really have, anything to do. And, again, people who want to associate with him, he doesn't know if he can trust them or if they're just there to try to mooch off of his money and his success.
Yep.
It's funny. where is the archetype for people
It's not
who
really
get successful
funny.
on how to cope with it?
But yeah,
and
the
also,
thing is,
what else is important?
the question about this, the real question right here, is what is the definition of success? And to be honest, success doesn't have a definition. It's really based on your definition. You can have $5 in your wallet and have 40 friends that fuck with you for real, and you can see yourself as being successful. You can have $5 million in your fucking bank account, no friends, and you might think you're successful. You could be in between. You could be barely paying all your bills and have a couple friends, and you might think you're successful. It's different. People think differently of the definition of success. And I could tell you that for a fact. People think differently when it comes to what success really means. But this is a pretty good question.
And in
I
life,
won't lie
it seems
to
to me,
you.
at least
It's a
from
pretty
the
good
stuff
question.
Notch has been tweeting, that he doesn't have a lot of people who he considers close personal friends. The people who were supposedly his close personal friends ended up being
Fell
left
off.
behind or don't want to associate with him anymore because he is so successful.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, the jealousy ruined that friendship. And what does he really have in life? You know? Now, I don't know too much about Notch. I mean, I don't know if he has a wife or kids or whatever. But, you know, for me, personally, a lot of people ask me this question. They say, Phil, would you ever have kids? And the answer is, I mean, yeah, I would consider it. But the bottom line is it would be so irresponsible for me to consider it because I'm not in the position of this person who asked me the question. I'm not financially stable. Right now, things could go crazy but wrong. YouTube could close down overnight and I have zero income. I just had my contract renegotiated with Machinima, and I have no idea if I'm going to even be able to do YouTube full-time for the next year. I don't know. Everything is up in the air and uncertain. Now, imagine if I have a kid. Now, how am I going to promise that kid a stable life where I'm going to be able to take care of them and pay for things and raise them and give them a safe and fair environment and the same things that other children around them have?
Take a sip. The Sonic
But
sip.
in reality, I don't even have a real stable income, right? That would be very irresponsible of me. So for me, the whole thought of raising a family outside of just myself and my girlfriend Leanna is kind of out of the question right now. It's
You said it. My girlfriend Leanna. It's one word. It's one word. That's going to be the hashtag for this video. If you watched it this far, make sure to put in the comments hashtag my girl friend. I have to look at the keyboard because when I'm drunk, I can't type that good. Hashtag my girlfriend Leanna. Make sure to put that in the comments if you watch it this far. Make sure to post hashtag my girlfriend Leanna. Hashtag my girlfriend Leanna. I gotta say it a few times because it's a really good hashtag.
sounds to
Hashtag
me like
my girlfriend
you,
Leanna.
Zyphos, are in a position where you are financially
might
stable.
tweet
Things are
that.
looking up, but now
It's a
you're
really
kind of
good
lost
one.
because you focus so much on getting to that point that you didn't work on anything else. You didn't build social relationships
can
and
barely
friend
fucking
networks.
see
You don't have a significant
laptop
other. At least that's
screen.
what I'm kind of understanding here from this. Now, also, it seems to me like what you're saying is, well, I've reached a point in my job where there's really nothing else to strive for. You know what I mean? He's
Okay.
at the top level where he can be.
GG.
That's okay, because there's other things you can do in life. You could go off and do charity work. You could go off and get hobbies. You could try to strive for success and or achievement in other areas. And a lot of people who do find success in one area then try to venture out and do other things. How many successful actors then try to become directors, right? How many successful people in the entertainment industry become producers because they have the money to now produce cool stuff, right? Now, I have absolutely no idea what the
How
job
many successful rappers try to become successful label owners, which takes zero work if you don't have any talent.
observation is what your job is, because you didn't hint at that in the question. But what I would say is, if you really feel you've reached the epitome of success in what you're doing, try to do something else that's maybe a little bit more outside the box. I'm not saying give up what you're doing, but maybe you want to try a hobby or something different.
To go off of what he just said, if you feel like you reached the epitome of your success for what you're doing, okay, this is the way I'm gonna put it. If you do YouTube, right? Like, I'm going a little bit off topic here, but if you do YouTube and you feel like you reached the epitome of success for your YouTube channel, you feel like you reached the ceiling, you feel like you can't get farther with doing YouTube, find other people that do YouTube and start your own YouTube network. So now those people that you like can make money for you and make money for themselves. If you can't do that, okay, this dude, what he is, I forget what the fuck he's supposed to be. But I don't know. If he really feel like he reached his plateau of being successful, I don't know, fucking adopt a kid, buy a dog, adopt a cat, adopt a dog, get some parrots, get a guinea pig, get something, dude. It don't even have to be helping another person, but do something. Don't just sit at home all day and feel like, oh man, I'm so successful in life, but I can't do anything with it. Like, make something happen. It don't even have to be another person. Like, adopt a kid in Africa, adopt a kid in real life, fucking adopt a cat, adopt a dog, adopt a parrot, adopt a guinea pig, do something. You don't have to get a real kid, because a real kid is way more responsibility than a pet. But do something. You know, I remember it was a point in my life where I felt I couldn't do anything else. I felt like I was at the peak of how successful I could be with doing music stuff. And that's why I originally got 2 guinea pigs. And fast forward 4 years, I still got guinea pigs because I like having guinea pigs. They're pretty chill animals. But that's how it started with me. So yeah, he could be like that. He could get some guinea pigs and some parrots, some parakeets, some chinchillas, something, and just put time and effort into taking care of them, and it might put him in a better mood. Who knows?
Try to get a friend network going. Again, I don't know if you have a significant other or not. Maybe think about raising a family. You're 28 years old. Now's the perfect time, the next few years, to start planning
do
out
not
if you're
think
going
about
to have
raising
a family
family
and stuff. Because right now I'm 33.
That's not good advice.
And I'm starting to realize, you know, sadly,
Bitches
people ask
ain't
me over the
shit
years I've been doing
but hoes
YouTube, will
and
I ever
tricks.
have a family? I'm like, it's starting to be that age where if I don't have a kid in the next, say, 10 years,
But fucking
I won't be
head
able to
too
raise
early.
them. I'll be too old. So really, right now, it's kind of for me. I'm in a situation where I don't even have that flexibility. It sounds to me like you do have that flexibility. So those maybe should be the things that you focus on. You want to maybe diversify
TBH,
yourself
that's not good advice. So
from
you can get
the
yourself
things
in
that
some
you're doing
bad
at your job. But at the same
trying
time,
to have
I
kids
actually
with
agree with
bitches.
you. I feel that in America we have an institution based off of spend
And
money,
no,
spend
no,
money,
no.
spend.
When I said have kids with bitches, I didn't really refer to all women as bitches, but it's some bitches out here that's willing to have kids for a dude just to get some handout in life. I don't know what fucking life this dude that asked this question come from. I don't know where he lived, but yeah, that's not good advice. Get you a pet. Do not purposely try to have a family with anybody. If you're not married to her, no. That's awful advice, because you could have kids with some bitch that you barely know. Y'all go fall out, and now you got to pay child support for 18 years, taking care of a kid that you barely know, and most of it's going to be going to a woman that you barely like. So don't take
money,
that
work
advice.
your ass off,
But I digress.
give your blood and soul and sweat and tears to the corporations, because it's almost a cycle that feeds itself. Instill these ideals in our kids so that all they care about is going to the expensive schools, going to the getting that big degree, killing your ass for the corporation, and then here you are. Well, I'm 30 years old and I'm successful. What do I really have for it? Because
great lyrics from a bad song, from a bad rapper. Success, 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 success is kind of bittersweet.
really, it was just to feed back
And it
into
really
those
is.
corporations,
It really
right?
is.
I'm just
Regardless
saying.
of what kind of
All right,
success
next
you
question
have,
is
it
from
really is
Gaspin
bittersweet.
Geckos, and he says, in regards to your new 3-channel
That's
business.
the MVP. That's the MVP question for the whole Ask the King. That was a real nigga shit question. And I rarely say the word nigga in the video unless I feel like I have to. That was a real nigga shit question. So hats off to dude that asked the question. And you got DSP to talk for almost 10 minutes.
I have to ask, if
That was a
KO
real
Gaming
question.
becomes more popular than your other channels, will you start putting more focus on it than the other channels? Like, will it become your primary channel? Well, here's the thing. The 3-channel focus that I have right now, the reason that I think that it's cool is because up to now, let's be very honest here.
Let's be very honest here.
95% of what I'm focused on is raw gameplay. Every day, either on stream or off, me sitting here with a controller in my hand on this love seat, playing through a game, doing live commentary, and recording gameplay, and then uploading it to YouTube. Now, there's other things that come from that, like my game reviews, like the weekend preview, like other vlogs and stuff, but that's the very minor focus. So right now, as of until maybe 2 weeks ago, that's the reality of the situation, all right? And let's face it, YouTube has changed. The business model changed. 90% of viewers on YouTube don't want to watch a full raw playthrough anymore. They want to see something highly edited. They want to see the best of.
90% of viewers don't want to watch a full raw playthrough. No, people still want to watch full raw playthroughs. The people that don't want to watch full raw playthroughs are the people that are used to seeing bullshit, super edited. I can't come up with the right word, but the people that are used to seeing super edited bullshit, no, reference videos, the people that are okay with seeing a funny, in quotes, funny video of pretty much nothing happening. But it's funny because it's taken out of context. Context is the word I'm looking for. The people that are used to seeing out of context, short, funny, in quote, videos, those people are not the people you should be trying to cater to, because those people are, they'll sub to you Monday and then unsubscribe Wednesday because you said 2 + 2 = 4 and they think it equals 5. Those people are casuals. You should never try to cater to casuals. At least that's the way I feel, but I don't have a successful YouTube business like Dogside Phil. But I don't think catering to casuals is the way to go. At least not as far as making YouTube videos. Now, if DSP was a stream on Twitch, then fuck it, cater to those casuals. Because those casuals might not have ad block on, and those casuals might have $5 extra to give you and subscribe to you. But for YouTube, casuals, fuck that. If you want to watch my videos to get like 2 seconds of entertainment, out of context bullshit videos, you can go somewhere else. And that's my honest answer about that. But it really depends on what you're trying to get accomplished. Depending on what you're trying to do, casuals are okay. Fuck them based on what you're trying to do. But the thing is, we don't really know what DSP trying to do. It's like DSP trying to play both sides of the field. He want to get the casuals, but he also want to get the hardcore viewers. And he's not going to get both. He can't get both. But the way he's trying to get both, he expects the hardcore viewers to watch his full playthroughs that are 50 fucking hours long, and he expects the casuals to watch his highlights. And to be honest, I don't think he has casuals yet. I think some of the in-between people are watching his highlights. But on his KO Gaming channel, I don't think he has any subs that are randoms yet. I think all of his subs are current DSP Gaming subs that went over to his new channel. I might be wrong, I might be right. I don't fucking know. There's no way for me to tell. But that's what I think. But I'm rambling here, so let me keep going.
If they want to see funny comedy stuff, they don't have the time to sit there for 7-8 hours and watch a gameplay through. And I understand that, which is why I've now diversified myself with these 3 channels. But here's the thing, and here's why I actually think the 3-channel model works. Vlogging, gameplay, edited content of gameplay and gaming. Why does that work? It's very simple. KO Gaming explodes. Wow, KO Gaming, super popular, right? Guess what? I can't not do DSP Gaming. Why? Because I still need to do the raw gameplay. I still need to play through the games.
True.
To get the footage for the game reviews and those
you
montages
said this already
and the best
before,
moments.
though.
If I don't play the game
But I'm gonna
raw
let him keep going
on
before I
DSP
pause
Gaming,
again.
how would I have any footage to draw upon for KO Gaming?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm fully aware that there's tons of people out there. One person that everyone references is Angry Joe. They're like, Phil, are you aware that Angry Joe, he's not a Let's Player. Yeah, he every once in a while does a live stream, but he basically was known and made his internet presence known for his edited game reviews and rants and stuff, where it's him talking in front of a camera with game footage integrated, but he doesn't show the raw stuff. Yeah, and he became incredibly popular based off of that. But here's the thing. He still plays the games behind the scenes, right? Just that he doesn't share that with everyone. Well, what's the difference if I keep sharing it with everyone or I don't? It's not like I'm going to save time not sharing the raw stuff, right? So I'm going to continue on DSP Gaming to do the raw stuff. And even if KO Gaming becomes 7 times more popular than DSP Gaming, I still have to do the raw stuff. So that dedicated fan base who's been there since day one, I can't, technically, it's impossible for me to abandon you. I will always be here for you, doing the raw stuff, the gameplay stream. The on-demand gameplay content, if that's the formula that you grew up with, that's the formula that you love because that's what you knew me for so many years, it's not going to go anywhere. Couldn't, technically, physically could not go anywhere. It has to exist. But yeah, maybe I would focus a little bit more on KO Gaming and put more time into it. Right now, I'm finding gameplay is still half my day, and then the other half of the day is either vlogging or the KO Gaming stuff.
I don't know what I said just now, but I was muted. I don't know how long I was muted, but there's nothing I can do about it. OBS has bugged hotkey mechanics. You know what I mean? So yeah, sometimes I hit the button for the hotkey and it doesn't work. So sorry about that.
I don't know how that's going to change in the future. Maybe it'll be mostly gameplay and KO Gaming, and then once or twice a week a vlog.
Yeah, the hotkey kind of shit. I'm gonna just not.
Right now, it seems to be a pretty fair balance. And the bottom line is DSP Gaming can't go away with this current formula, and I like that. I don't want to abandon those people who made me successful to begin with.
The people that made him successful. He was successful before his DSP Gaming channel.
Next question is from Chaotic Deluge. And he says, Phil, I'm a curious guy. Final Fantasy is my favorite video game series personally, and I know that how you feel about the majority of them. I agree on most of your points. I know that you feel quite strongly for Final Fantasy 4 and 6, and especially strongly... I know you feel quite strongly...
Good thing I want to point out before we finish here. He didn't get a lot of bait questions, which I'm actually happy about. Because those bait questions really pissed me off. I remember it was one Ask the King. He got questions about Donald Trump. He got questions about immigration. Like, really? These questions have nothing to do with a gaming YouTuber. These questions are nothing about gaming at all. These are like, to be honest, some of those questions were fucking stupid to ask someone that does gaming on YouTube. He has nothing to do with that outside shit. And I remember a long time ago, he was like, oh, you could pay $20 to get a question answered guaranteed, but I'm not going to answer questions like blah, 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 blah. But then he answered questions about fucking Donald Trump and questions about immigration. But I'm glad to say that he didn't get a lot of bait questions and a lot of bullshit questions with this Ask the King. A lot of these questions have been legit or seemingly legit questions. So I'm happy about that.
For Final Fantasy, and for 4 and 6 especially strongly. I read that incorrectly. What is your opinion on Final Fantasy 5? As 5 and 9 are my personal favorites in the series,
wow,
I like your
Final
opinion
Fantasy
on 9
too,
but I understand you're yet to play that particular entry. although it seems like you've played 5 before, I can't recall you saying any more about anything but knowing the character's name. By the way, his name's Butts. Yeah, the main character's name is Butts.
With a Z.
Thanks, keep up the good work. Final Fantasy V. Final Fantasy V took the graphics and a lot of some of the game mechanics from Final Fantasy
Stop
IV.
fucking trolling each other.
And they turned it into, or they combined that with some of the class-based gameplay from previous Final Fantasy games. So for those of you who haven't played the classic Final Fantasies, there was 1 or 2 of them early on where you could have a class. Your character could be any class. So you could be a red mage, a white mage, a black mage, a warrior, a monk, a knight, a dragoon, all these different classes. And each class that you change your character to gains new abilities and new things. And eventually, the thing that I really like is sometimes you can make a custom ability set where you can have a really powerful physical attack, but then you could use magic too. And I like those hybrid classes that eventually you could create. A lot of that was lost when in later Final Fantasy games, such as Final Fantasy IV, your character is basically the same thing throughout the whole game. You know, Cecil, he starts out as a Dark Knight, later on he's a Paladin, but that's all he's ever going to be. Kain is always going to be a Dragoon. Rosa's always going to be a White Mage. So yeah, you'll get better abilities in those classes, but you'll never be able to switch it up. Final Fantasy V, you start out in a class, your main character start out in a class, but then you could change those classes later, and you could actually customize your characters based off of that. And I really liked that about the game. The customization options in the game were excellent in my opinion. And in fact, it adds to even more replayability because let's face it, Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy VI, yes, to some extent in 6 you could equip the different espers, and because of that, the Magicites, you could actually have like all the magic. But ultimately, your character only has like one unique ability or whatever. Final Fantasy IV is the same. You can never really break out of that archetype. Final Fantasy V, the more you play it, you can actually completely customize your character, which is awesome. And it has just as much content, secret bosses and stuff as Final Fantasy IV. Final Fantasy V is a great game. I just thought narrative-wise, the story wasn't nearly as good as 4 or 6 is. I thought that what they did, they tried to focus more on that core gameplay mechanic of being able to completely customize your character however you want. And by doing that, they kind of let way a little bit with the story. I felt that the stories of 4 and 6 were much better than the story of 5. In fact, the main character, Butts, of 5, I really never had any attachment to. He's kind of like a silent protagonist who really doesn't do much. And take a look at 4 and 6, where every character is unique and has their own backstory, and Butts is just kind of a generic archetype that I didn't really enjoy.
A square soft.
So 5, I would say, out of the classic Final Fantasies, is probably my 3rd favorite. I'd say 6 is my favorite, 4 is my 2nd favorite, and 5 is kind of like right under there. And then we've got some other ones like 7.
Remember, boys and girls, Final Fantasy VI is the game he's going to play if he ever decides to leave YouTube. That's the last game he's going to play. Except I think he already played it before, but whatever.
Probably right under there.
But I digress.
I do like the originals. The originals are kind of bare bones with the story. And yeah, he's right. I've never played 9. I seriously have never played Final Fantasy 9. I played it for a couple hours once, emulated, and then the emulator stopped working, and I never played it. I would definitely like to play it, and in fact...
Final Fantasy 9 is pretty good.
Do I have that as a question? Because I remember I thought I had it.
If it's a Patreon choice.
This is someone from Facebook. They said, Phil, are you aware Final Fantasy IX is getting a re-release on the PC and mobile platforms later this year? This is the game I've been eagerly anticipating the most for you to start. Are you going to do a playthrough or make it as an option on your Patreon?
Oh my fucking God.
I would love to play Final Fantasy IX. I've never effing played it. It would be a cold playthrough. And I would love to do that. So if it is actually coming out, if there's a PC,
might play Final Fantasy 9 next. I want to play all of them in a row on Steam or whatever.
I would definitely 100% consider playing it. Of course, I don't know the release timing. That's
really Final Fantasy 9 and Final Fantasy 8. I really fucking like those games. I don't care for the other ones much.
There's literally no time to play it. That'll
Final
determine
Fantasy
if and when I
8,
play
9, 10. That's the ones I really like. I don't care for the other ones that much.
All right, this next question
is
from Slayer.
Never played Final Fantasy 9. Holy shit.
Phil, I'm a longtime viewer since 2011, and I've enjoyed your content ever since. Recently, you played Yakuza 5, and you've been commenting on the Japanese pop songs in the Haruka section. My question is, will you enjoy a song even if it's in a different language, like Japanese pop, and give it a listen? Also, have you heard of Korean pop or K-pop? If yes, what are your thoughts on it? I would appreciate if you could answer this question, and I would like to hear your thoughts on it.
His thoughts on Korean pop? What? No. Can I enjoy a song even if it's in a different language? It's a 2-minute answer. I'm squished.
The next question is from the Doctor. And the Doctor says, I don't know if you've even talked about this yet, but the Nintendo NX, is now in development, might be coming out soon. I want to ask your opinion on it, and do you have confidence that Nintendo...
I'm sorry for skipping on stuff, but I really got to use the bathroom. Will I speculate on the upcoming Nintendo NX console? Of fucking course he will. He has a YouTube channel that's based around gaming. No shit he will. So let's skip that. Am I still considering getting back surgery? 2152.
What happens? All right. All right, a few more questions. All these questions are from social media coming up. From Dean Jones. He says, Phil, do you plan on getting the back surgery that you talked about back in Connecticut now that you moved?
No,
you know, from time to time,
money,
people ask me this question. Phil, how's your back doing? Phil, do you need the back surgery? Some of you watching right now might literally have no idea what this question means because, let's face it, I haven't really talked about my back much at all. For about
this is another
2 years.
nothing question, so I'm skipping this. My thoughts on the division, skipping that. I'm sorry for skipping questions, but it's like I have nothing to say about these subjects. And DSP probably has nothing to say that I even care about hearing. Like, do I really care about him hearing songs in a different language? No. Do I care about his thoughts on the Nintendo NX? No. Do I care about his thoughts on back surgery? No. Do I care about his thoughts on the division? No. Did I ever consider joining the military? Interesting story. Will I play The Witness is the next one. And if I had played it last year, would Undertale be my game of the year ranking? Fuck Undertale. And that's all I'm going to say. Don't ask me why I say it. If you know why, you know why. And if you don't, you don't. But that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything about Undertale. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to listen to his opinion on Undertale. Because I already listened to his video about Undertale. I don't feel like talking about Undertale anymore. I talked about it like 4 fucking times in the last month. And I'm done with talking about Undertale. So, will I join the military? You know what? I'm going to listen to that. And then I'm going to be done.
All right, only 3 more questions. Next one's from Joseph Seniza. Excuse me, I probably mispronounced that. Hey, when you were in high school or your mid-20s, did you ever think about joining the military? Yes, and I've told this story before.
I think most people in between 18 and 20 that were male thought about joining the military. I think it's a really bad decision to join the military because you have nothing else going on with your life. And that's, to be honest, I think that's what the military feeds on. They want those people that have nothing going on with their life. Oh, I don't have anything going on. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have money. I don't have a job. I don't have a car. I'm going to join the military. They feed on people like that. That's what I think. I may be wrong. I'm sure somebody might get annoyed by my response to that, but
I'll very briefly tell it again. When I was in high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know if I wanted to
be
go to college,
young and join the military. If you don't know
my
what
dad
you
was a
want to do
Marine,
in life.
and I had considered going to join the Marines and or just the military in general. So I went to the local recruitment board or whatever, and
the recruitment board used to fucking call me. They used to call my cell phone.
Based off of the responses to my interview, they thought that I was a
Bunch of
top
fucking
candidate to
assholes.
be an officer. Okay, now they didn't promise anything. Obviously, you got to go through basic training, but they were like, "Listen, you know, you're very smart. You're high ranked in your school. You're on track to go to a nice college. But if you go to the military, you'll be an officer. You won't see the front lines if you ever do get deployed. Yada yada yada."
They feed you bullshit.
Basically, they pumped up the military for me.
Yep.
And said that this is going to be a great thing for me.
Yep.
So I remember
they feed
after
you
doing
bullshit
this interview,
because they want to
like,
get you to
this
join.
could be viable. And
They'll
here's
tell you
what
whatever
happened.
you want to hear
God,
just to get you to join.
Happened. This is 100% true. I was about to leave, and as I was about to leave from the interview, the guy who interviewed me said, "So what do you think, honestly?" And I said, "Well, I'll be honest with you. A lot of what you said to me sounds attractive, but I do want to weigh and balance my other options too. And you know, there's a possibility that I'll be back, but you know, I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not 100% sold, but I liked what I heard today." The guy was such a cocky fucker. Here's what he said to me. He said, "That's okay. I know you'll be back. We'll see you soon."
Wow.
And the second he fucking said that to me, I immediately was turned off from going back. Yep. And I never did. Because the bottom line is when you're so... There's one thing. Confidence is one thing. That was cocky, egotistical bullshit. And what I could tell is that in his head, they had ingrained that military shit. Wow. Oh, it's the best thing ever. And loyalty to your country and herpa-derpa fucking dirt. The stuff that people fall for, that lack of independent thought, that he thought the military was such the best thing. And because I had, they'd done such a good job of selling the military. There was no way in hell that I wouldn't come back. And he said it in such a cocky fucking way that immediately I said, there's no fucking way I would ever go back and be a part of that. And I never did. And since that day, I never considered being in the military, period.
I would have turned into an angry black lady right now.
All the shit that happened after that, 9/11, being deployed out in fucking Afghanistan and Iraq.
Fuck you.
And I probably would be dead. I'm just saying, I'll be quite honest. I'd probably be dead. And I'm happy that I didn't make that decision with my life. And by no means am I saying that the military is a bad thing. By no means am I saying that people who are loyal to their country or that
if that really happened, that's ridiculous.
We know you're going to be bad. Yes, there absolutely needs to be people who are going to stand up and defend our country and our freedoms and our rights. And I actually strongly respect someone who sacrifices their life and their freedom and their well-being to be in the military to let a place like the United States of America exist. But let's face it, the past 15 years, our military was massively misused for shit that I don't agree with.
Yep.
And I'm very happy that I made the decision that I did, because I don't
he would have been doing a lot of bullshit that he might have not agreed with
at that time. Real talk. All right. Next question.
I completely
this
agree
one is
with
from
that.
General.
If he would have joined the military, he would have probably did a lot of shit that he didn't agree with. This is not a good question to end it off with, but Jesus Christ. Well, I'll play the witness. I don't give a fuck about that. He won't play the witness. The witness is the fucking walking simulator. He's not touching it. If he plays it, he's really bored or he got a free copy. If I played it last year, will Undertale be the last game? I don't want to talk about Undertale anymore. I talked about Undertale more times in the last 2 months than I wanted to in general in my life. I have nothing else to say about Undertale. The people that want to know my opinion on Undertale, follow me on Twitch. The people that don't know my opinion on Undertale won't ever know it. So fuck it. I have nothing to say about Undertale. I have nothing to say about the witness. So we're going to end it off on the military story. Appreciate you for showing up. This video was way longer than it needs to be. I forgot my hashtag. I'm going to try to have this uploaded by, what today is? It's Thursday. I'm going to try to have this uploaded by the middle of Friday. But I'm out. It's 11:13 my time. I still have to stream for the day. And I have to use the bathroom again, so I have nothing else to talk about. Appreciate you for showing up. Make sure to like the video if you support the cause. I got a Steam notification, so that's what that beeping sign was. So thank you, Blue12356, for sending me messages on Steam directly in the end of a video. But yeah, I'm done. I'm out. And yeah, I'll see you like Sunday or some shit. Because DSP is supposed to be doing the Rockathon Sunday. I'm not promising anything, but I might force myself to sit through that shit just to do a YouTube video. But I might not. But don't take my word for it. But I'm out. I'm done. Bye.